Alright, mic works. Guardians of the Earth, Wild Access. Hey, hey, Wolfpack. We're back, and once again, Kat's doing another surprise tier list because I had time. And this time, we're doing the series after Time Force, Wild Force. Alright, making sure my mic works. Alright. Yep, we're gonna be ranking all the Wild Force characters. We have all the orgs, all the monsters, the main villains, the rangers, and some surprise guest stars here on this ranking too. Wild Force, I have mixed feelings on. It is not one of my all-time favorite Ranger shows, but Wild Force does have a ton of highlights, a ton of great moments, a ton of moments in Power Rangers history, if you will, some of the greatest villains of all time. However, it also has some weaknesses, some of the worst villains of all time, and some of the lesser Power Rangers. But it does have all the Red Rangers for their anniversary event, so clearly there is a lot of good here too. Sorry, just making sure everything works. Yeah, it looks like the mic works, alright. Wild Access! Hey, Shadowlink, glad you made it. We're gonna be ranking all the characters, and yes, the Forever Red, all the Red Rangers are down here too, along with all the main characters from Wild Force. So yes, we do have to talk about Wild Force before we get to the Forever Red icons. We do have to rank some of Wild Force's characters while on their turf. So, Wild Force, I have kind of mixed feelings on. Namely, some of the Rangers were not really my favorites, and there were some really stupid moments, stupid plot lines in this too. However, there was an equal amount of good here. A lot of great plot points, a lot of great characters like the Wolf Ranger, and one of the most underrated Power Ranger villains of all time, Master Org, who is up here on top too. Yeah, we're going to be ranking them all on a character tier list, judging them based on how well the show did them, how good they were as a character, or how bad they were as a character. And we have every character that appeared on Wild Force, including the Forever Red guest stars, who we will be saving for a bit later. I do want to get some of Wild Force's cast out of the way. I'll just say, despite some faults in Wild Force, especially in the Kite Animus arc, I enjoyed Wild Force enough. Yeah, that seems to be the consensus. Wild Force is a decent Power Ranger show, but not one of the all-time favorites. It did not outdo Time Force, which is a classic. I prefer Lightspeed Rescue and Lost Galaxy way more, but Wild Force has gotten better over time, especially with how bad Disney and Nickelodeon ruined the Power Rangers. So yeah, it does have a lot of defenders and a lot of fans, and I will admit there are some great moments here too, especially some underrated villains all on here, and underrated guest stars. Some of my favorite Red Rangers are on here too, so we will have some positives to say. So, I'll explain if this is your first tier list ever. Gonna be ranking all the characters you see down low here, up on my tier list here, from best to worst, the rock bottom. So, we are doing regular letters this time, just to keep it simple, and because I know a lot of people have a lot of words regarding some of these characters down here. So yeah, keeping it simple. S tier, these are the master class, these are the 10 out of 10s, the perfect ones, the all-time icons, the characters who made Power Rangers history, and yes, Wild Force will have some characters going up here. Then we have A. These are good, not great. They had a lot going for them, had a lot of high moments, definitely are good characters and did Wild Force justice, but missing that extra spark to make it into S tier, the perfect 10 out of 10s. These are kind of 8 and 9 out of 10s, we'll put it that way. Then we have B. These are okay, they're average, they're mid, they're mediocre, they're dead center, didn't do anything all that great to stand out, but also weren't garbage enough to be bad and any lower down here. These are the alright characters, and we'll probably be seeing a lot more of Wild Force characters on here, especially with all the generic monsters of the weeks. Then we have C. These are weak. They're duds, they're weak, they had something going for them, could have amounted to something great, but ultimately wasted potential. They are below average, not quite bad enough to be rock bottom, but not exactly the best of this show. Then we have D. This will be the lowest grade. No F, because Wild Force honestly wasn't a unwatchable bad show, but these are the bad ones, the duds. They are the lame ducks. They are the worst characters of the show. They are definitely not favorites in Wild Force, and unfortunately we will be seeing some characters down here. Yo, Cat. Hey, Emily. It's wolfing time. Yep, finally got it. We're doing the Wild Force, and yes, I promised my friends that I'd have the Forever Red Rangers on here. They are here, but unfortunately, we do have to start with Wild Force. So yeah, let's get this list underway. Wild Force, not one of my top favorite Power Ranger shows. There are good moments, but there's also quite a few bad moments. Namely, the Rangers are the characters I care the least about in this show. It is very much held up by the villains. Master Org, Gindrax, and Toxica were S-tier characters, but we'll talk about them as we go along. But yeah, let's finally start this, and we have to start with, as tradition, the Red Ranger, Cole Evans. Oh, this might upset some Cole fans, but Cole Evans going on to A. Yep, our first Red Ranger, not in the S tier. Cole had a lot of good moments, had a very decent character arc. I did like him as a kitten, not so much upon rewatches because I realized he was kind of boring. So, Cole Evans is actually this abandoned boy who lived in the jungle. Cole is kind of a caveman, a native boy. He lived with these magical African tribes somewhere in the middle of Africa. His parents were mysteriously disappeared. They mysteriously disappeared. We find out they were killed, and we learn the reasons as to why. Cole is basically sent off out into the world, finally a grown man who has to find his destiny and discover the truth about what happened to his parents, why his parents left him, where they disappeared to, and of course he stumbles upon into our modern day, the First World City, where he's recruited by the Power Rangers, becoming their Red Ranger, the Blazing Lion. And Cole is not one of my favorite Red Rangers. I'm just gonna say it out now. Cole, not one of my favorites. He's definitely not a bad character. He had his great moments, had his funny moments. His interactions with Master Org, namely, are his high points. There is a certain controversy behind the actor. Yeah, I knew someone was going to bring that up. So, for all my younger viewers or those who just plain don't know, this is the infamous Red Ranger who murdered his roommate. He stabbed him to death, allegedly with a katana blade. My friend Emily said that. Yeah, this is the Red Ranger whose actor got into a fight with his roommate, and he's currently in prison right now. I'm not sure if he's been released. I heard someone said he finally got out, but yeah, this was the actor who got arrested for stabbing his roommate to death with a katana blade, and yeah, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes drama with this guy, even before his infamous arrest. So, in context to the character, Cole is not one of my favorite Red Rangers. He is pretty much the hot guy for girls to crush on. He's basically this suave jungle boy. He never wears sleeves. He kind of acts like a caveman. He's a real pretty bad boy. Apparently the actor did not get along well with the Wild Force cast. Allegedly, according to some of the actors, the Red Rangers guy had a bit of an ego and was really full of himself. He was pretty much the star of the show and constantly rubbed that in other people's faces. So, essentially, this show, unfortunately, Cole is one of the biggest main characters, and his story, either you love it or you hate it. Cole wants to find out what happened to his parents. We find out his parents were actually adventure archaeologists who took their baby with them on science missions. They were out in the forest trying to study the infamous Orgs and the disappearance of the Animarium. In this show, a race known as the Orgs, a race of monsters that feed off of pollution and toxic fumes, basically rose and attacked this Animarium native village 3,000 years ago, led by the evil villain Master Org. Master Org and his monsters, the Orgs, tried to destroy the Animarium tribe. The Animarium tribe successfully warded off Master Org and escaped into the sky. The Princess Shayla, is the last warrior of their tribe. She's down here. Basically, she rose the village as an island in the sky, becoming kind of like the Hyrule Kingdom. They abandoned the Earth and would only return if the Orgs ever returned. And spoilers, of course, the Orgs are back. The Orgs are the main villains. They're back, and they need the Wild Force Rangers, recruiting Cole as one of them, to combat the Orgs and basically restore peace to the natural order once more. Wild Force leans more towards fairy tales. It is kind of a magical fairy tale type of ranger team. They're fighting magical villains, and they're heroes defending the planet from pollution and evil monsters who want to destroy our Mother Earth and innocent animals. And Cole represents kind of that. He's a nature hero. He loves animals, he can talk to animals, and he's trying to stop evil polluters and demons, basically. Despite that controversy, Cole Evans' character was fine. Not one of my favorite Red Rangers, but he was still likable. Yeah, he had his moments. Cole is the Tarzan of Power Rangers, before the Blue Ranger and Dino Charge, that is. Yeah, I could describe him as Tarzan. Tarzan. He's becoming kind of acquainted with his new tribe, the Rangers. The Rangers are his friends. They help him. They help him find humanity, help him discover his destiny, and they form a powerful friendship, which unfortunately broke up in the finale, which is kind of why I don't like Wild Force, because none of the Rangers stayed friends. But yeah, Cole, I think he's fine. He's not one of the best Red Rangers. He pretty much got shilled in the Forever Red special, where everybody praises him because he's the new guy, and he's the one that destroys the Serpentera, so he does have that under his helmet. Okay, so Cole, basically, they help him find his destiny. That is his long character arc. He's learning to care about humankind, getting acquainted with the Rangers, and trying to basically find himself. He joins the Rangers to help save nature, help protect animals, and he finds out that his parents were killed by the villain Master Org, and it's basically a moral debate whether he's going to kill Master Org out of petty revenge or to do the right thing, stopping this guy from destroying Mother Earth and doing it for a more noble cause. And of course, the Red Ranger chooses the noble cause. He actually forgives Master Org for everything he's done. We do see he makes peace with him and leaves roses at Master Org's grave. So yeah, Cole is kind of a Jesus allegory. He turns the other cheek and redeems himself. Unfortunately, the problem is Cole is not super interesting. He falls very flat from Wes and Eric from Time Force, who are two of the best Red Rangers ever. And I do think him finding his destiny was complete BS, because I'm like thinking, wait, what was your destiny? It's like you went to find your parents' fate and found out, oh, they were dead, and he's thanking Princess Shayla for helping him find himself, and I'm like, did you ever find yourself? I did not really feel his character arc stuck the landing, basically. By the time we got to the finale, Cole's at peace now and found himself. There was allegedly a deleted scene which would show Cole's fate, which I wish they kept in. Basically, Cole becomes a veterinarian and he marries the White Ranger, Alyssa, that's her name. Yeah, he marries Alyssa and they become a couple together, retiring from their ranger jobs, and Cole becomes a veterinarian because he cares about animals. And I really wish this unused ending was kept in, because it would have made his character arc way more worthwhile than he's just gonna walk the earth helping animals and that BS. His destiny was to work with animals. That was shown a lot better in the alternate ending, Ira. I really wish they kept the ending where Cole becomes a veterinarian. He's like the best veterinarian in the world, because it's as if he understands animals, because he does. He's like taking care of animals, and he married Alyssa, the White Tiger Ranger, and I really wish their romance went somewhere, but they deleted it because I guess they thought kids didn't care about romances, which kind of nerfed Cole's character arc. So Cole is going on to A. Sorry, Blazing Lion, but you were outclassed by better characters. Alright, while I have my breath, let's talk about the character you all want to see, the villain, the underrated monster of Power Rangers Wild Force, Master Org, aka Dr. Victor Adler. Master Org, going into S tier. Yeah, that's right. Master Org is an underrated Power Rangers villain for sure. This guy deserves so much more praise and respect because he is badass, intelligent, scary as hell, and one of the surprisingly deeper layered antagonists of Power Rangers history. So, Master Org is the ultimate evil of the show. He is the main villain. He's the big bad that they have to stop, and actually has a surprisingly good character arc and secret twist that you do not see coming. Master Org is basically this ancient, evil, satanic being who rose from the depths of hell, trying to destroy the Animarian village and destroy nature and the earth itself with the power of hell and pollution. However, the Animarium gets away and the princess is on her floating island until 3,000 years later, Master Org seemingly revives out of nowhere to finally finish the job and destroy the Earth. However, we find out there's more to him than meets the eye. So if you don't know, Master Org, basically he's the big bad, he's in the shadows, sending out villains, dispatching them, creating his monsters giant when they die, all that typical Power Ranger stuff. So, over the course of the series, his henchmen, Gindrax and Toxica, start to realize there's something off about Master Org. Like, he seems very different and not like the same guy they remember from 3,000 years ago. His backstory was deep and slightly sympathetic. Yep, you know where this is going. Master Org / Dr. Adler is the most underrated main villain. I love this villain with his backstory. He's very ruthless to the Rangers and even some of the Orgs and nearly wins in the finale. Yeah, Master Org really kicks ass. So, they start to realize something's off with Master Org. He's acting different, he seems different, his horn apparently comes off, which apparently Orgs cannot do. He doesn't seem to recognize a lot of the past Orgs and doesn't seem to be acting like himself. And this is because we get to the twist. Master Org is not really Master Org. He's actually a human named Dr. Victor Adler, who was a scientist, best friends with Cole's parents, who stole this villain's entire identity and power. He's actually Dr. Victor Adler. Our main villain of Power Rangers is actually a human being, because Master Org represents the most evil animal on the planet, man. Dun dun dun. Yes, man. He'll rape your forests and deflower your pets. Yeah, he's basically evil mankind. Master Org is all the elements of what's bad about humanity. He's greedy, he's power hungry, he's violent, he's envious, he's very petty, and worst of all, he is wrathful. We find out Dr. Victor Adler worked with Cole's parents, and in a surprisingly sad yet dark backstory, Dr. Adler had a crush on Cole's mom. He wanted to ask her out, wanted her to marry him. However, his dad, Cole's dad, actually beat him to the punch and proposed to her first, and Master Org lost his shit. He went completely crazy. He went pissed off. Master Org felt like they denied him everything. He is an evil, petty, insecure, paranoid little bastard. Master Org pretty much turned against Cole's parents, leading to him eventually murdering them. Your father stole the woman I loved, and worse, he denied me my family. He denied me my fame. Every time I was stuck with them, it was a never-ending reminder of the pain I felt. Yeah, Master Org pretty much is an evil, entitled psycho bastard. This pretty much turned him completely against not just Cole's parents, but humanity as a whole. Basically, Victor Adler felt like he was kind of Arthur Fleck, that society screwed him over, the world denied him his happiness, his father stole everything from him. I use that in quotes, basically. Basically, he felt very paranoid and envious of the world around him, leading to his origin. Victor Adler finds the remains of Master Org. In a twist, the real Master Org is actually long dead, and this regular psychotic human guy hijacks his identity and his entire evil plan to become the Power Ranger villain. He finds Master Org's corpse and eats like the seeds that remain of him, transforming him into a half-human, half-org hybrid, where he completely murders Cole's parents. Hello there, Wolf. see we be doing the Power Rangers for a while. Yep, we're doing that. As Linkar said in his History of Power Rangers Wild Force review, toxic masculinity was the real Master Org. Yeah, I would say he's more of an entitled incel kind of bad guy, but yeah, you get the idea. Master Org murdered the hell out of Cole's parents. Cole barely survived because they hid the baby from him and he never found him. So basically, Dr. Adler became Master Org. I killed your parents, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Yeah, very, very powerful but funny scene, basically. Dr. Adler becomes Master Org and basically sells out humanity. He completely abandoned his human nature and embraced the Org culture, and because, quote-unquote, society denied him his happiness, he decided, screw all humans, he's going to destroy the Earth and take it over, rebuilding it in the Org's image. Yeah, in a surprising twist, Master Org is actually a petty, jealous, evil human bastard who stole a real Power Ranger villain's identity and hijacked it for his own devices. Master Org is really Dr. Adler, and we find out he has a petty hatred against Cole, and he plans to destroy the Animarian and all the animal Megazords to fulfill Master Org's destiny himself and become the rightful ruler he deserves to be. He was in love with Cole's parents, but grew to hate them. He basically represents what happened when a broken heart is pushed to the edge. Yeah, that kind of is. You almost feel sorry for Master Org, but then the show kind of reminds you that he did willingly make all these evil choices. I mean, he was the one who took the evil seeds to turn him evil. He did fully kill the parents. He does have a hate boner for the Red Ranger, and he pretty much abuses the Orgs. Master Org is a bad boss to the highest degree. It's like, as if him killing innocent people wasn't enough, he is the kind of boss who abuses his minions. Gindrax and Toxica are not free of his wrath. He does take it out on them. He blows up frozen and carbonite statues of Orgs when he's pissed off. He uses people. He threatens people. He wants to murder people for fun, especially the human race. He was denied everything, and he wants to destroy the animal Megazords. And that makes him a very ultimate villain. However, Gindrax and Toxica have other plans. They find out Master Org was a faker, a human in disguise, and they get an unfortunately bad replacement villain down here to replace him, where Master Org is depowered and thrown off a cliff where he somehow survived, leading to him becoming the new Master Org. Master Org did not die when they threw him off a cliff. He became the Mega Master Org, as you'll see down here. Who, yeah, this is also Master Org in his final form, who will also put on S tier, because he's pretty much the same guy, but with enhanced powers. Master Org temporarily dies, but in a twist, we find out he didn't actually die. This actually helped him unlock his connection to the Orgs. He died as a human, but got reborn as the true Master Org, growing his own actual horn, as you see here. You could say that the essence of Master Org influences evil actions. Yeah, this is what I'm trying to get to. So, there are some fan theories about what happened here after Master Org's first death. There's pretty much, it's implied that the real Master Org's powers have unlocked and took over him. However, there's a fan debate to this very day about what actually happened. Is Dr. Adler the human dead, and he's now fully an Org now, connected to the Org powers he ate 1,000 years ago, those seeds and the Org heart heats later? Is this actually Dr. Adler reincarnated as an Org form and finally using his true full power? Or is this actually the ghost of the real Master Org taking over Dr. Adler's corpse? Like, Dr. Adler died and the seeds he ate actually were Master Org. Is this his ghost taking over the corpse of this guy, using Dr. Adler as his vessel and transforming his body into his true Org form? To this very day, there's still a debate over whether this final Master Org is the real Master Org or Dr. Adler, now fully in tune with the powers. Missing the Red Ranger. Can't believe that the Red Ranger killed someone. Yeah, you missed us. Talk about that. Okay, so anyways, Master Org temporarily dies, unfortunately is replaced by a terrible villain for a few episodes, until he comes back in this form, who I call Mega Org. Master Org eats the heart of the real demon and becomes Mega Master Org, his superpowered final form. And just when the Rangers think they won, the Power Rangers are finally over, Master Org comes back in this weird summon skull yin-yang form, revealing that he's alive and now he's in his Super Saiyan mode, ready to destroy the Earth. And Master Org has completely unlocked God mode, turns into a giant kaiju, and the Rangers cannot kill him. They shoot him so many times, kill him with the Megazords multiple times, but the heart magically revives him, leading to a really badass finale where Master Org almost wins. He starts killing the Megazords. Master Org goes on a full-blown murder spree. All the Megazords die. They die. The Rangers lose their powers. No more wild access. Master Org almost wins. He knocks the island out of the sky and is ready to consume humanity in hell. And in the most badass moment, the Rangers still fight and they stand up to him, where we get that badass duel in the rain, where all 5 of the Rangers stand up to him. I am Cole Evans, Blazing Lion. Yeah, I get all of them. I am Iron Bison. I am Soaring Eagle. I am Noble Tiger. I am Surfing Shark. I am Howling Wolf. Yeah, all of them stand up to him. And unfortunately, in one of the weakest moments of the series, their love for the Megazords revives them. It is very cheesy and completely bullcrap Deus Ex Machina. Basically, the Megazords are with them in spirit, and as long as the Power Rangers keep fighting, they still live on. Where every Megazord, even ones we've never seen before, magically comes back to life and vaporizes Master Org. Yeah, that is how they defeat the villain. The souls of all the animal Megazords come back and they laser him to death, where we see Iva's face one last time before he's disintegrated. Can you replay that moment of the Red Ranger? Cole Evans, I think he's fine, but he's not perfect. That was kind of the thing. And we went over the actor's history where he stabbed his roommate to death and is in prison, which did kind of make rewatching the show a bit hard to get through. But yeah, I think Cole is a fine Red Ranger, but Master Org is an ultimate S-tier villain. Really like him. They had to use magic to basically defeat him. Master Org is finally killed when all the ghost Megazords come back to life and vaporize him. And that is the end of Master Org, but I think he is an underrated Power Ranger villain. This guy pretty much pushed the envelope, broke new ground for what Power Ranger villains could truly do. Ultimately, Master Org is an evil human being who stole power and wants to destroy nature and humanity because he felt like humanity didn't give him what he wants, didn't give him his happy ending or what he deserved. And that's what really made Master Org evil, because he completely lost his humanity the more he embraced his villain role, basically, before he literally became a giant monster, nearly destroying the Earth, and Master Org almost winning pretty much pushed him in S tier. Perhaps Dr. Adler finally did find peace. We hope so. We know Cole made peace with him and left flowers on his grave because nobody loved Dr. Adler. Kind of mixed feelings over whether you feel sorry for him or not. That is kind of the one thing I think this guy's like pretty pure evil. He did a lot of horrendous shit, and yeah, that pretty much elevated him to one of the most despicable villains of Power Rangers history. But yeah, Master Org, he is the master. We're putting him on S tier for sure. Alright. Now, time to knock off the other Rangers, who I have very mixed feelings on. First off, let's get Taylor, the Yellow Ranger, out of the way. Taylor Earhart, Soaring Eagle, going on to sea. This was the first Yellow Ranger I did not care for. Taylor is not one of my favorite characters, and it really doesn't help that the actress has this "I'm contractually obligated to like you" face on her in half her scenes. So, this is Taylor Earhart, the Yellow Ranger, she's pretty much Carol Danvers, Miss Marvel, back when Carol Danvers was a cool character. Like Carol, she's the no-nonsense tomboy Air Force girl. She's a former soldier and Air Force pilot who gets recruited into the Wild Force Rangers to combat Master Organ as evil. And unfortunately, she doesn't really get much character or an arc. Her story is exactly like Jen's. She's supposed to lighten up, become friends, joke around with the other Rangers, basically be brought back down to earth off her high horse. She is kind of a defrosting ice queen. However, she's not very likable. I don't like Taylor all that much. My problem is she's just kind of boring, and it feels like she's really just there. Her story arc is not compelling. I cannot remember one episode where I said, oh, I love that Taylor moment. She is kind of this hot-headed jerk. Her best moment is she has a romance with the Quantum Ranger in their crossover. Other than that, pretty much nothing. Her punch initiation of Cole was kind of badass. Oh, you mean where she says, you've been recruited, and she punches him in the gut and knocks him out? Kind of a bitch move, honestly. Not my favorite Yellow Ranger, especially after how great Kelsey and Katie were in our last tier list. She does not soar very high. I'm putting her on C. Not the worst Yellow Ranger, but also kind of one of the more forgettable characters on the team. Alright, got quite a lot of characters. We do have the Forever Red Rangers on here. I guess we'll knock out one of our villains. Trying to look for that weird jet engine guy. He was like the first villain. I think this is him, but I could be wrong. No, this one might be him. Alright, the starter villain, the evil jet engine. Going on to B. Very basic villain. This is the starter villain for the Wild Force Rangers. His rise pretty much shows that the Wild Force Rangers, they are needed, that the orgs are back, and this is the first starter villain. He fights the Rangers, gets his ass kicked. Cole uses his Red Ranger powers for the first time, where they use that cool laser beam sword to kill him. Then they fight as Megazords, where they blow him up again. Yeah, I'll put him on B. Speaking of which, we should also put the barbed wire villain up here. This guy, I'll put him above here because he has one good line. This is the barbed wire villain, where he can spread barbed wire and wrap people around in like tombs and kill people because barbed wire is pretty sharp. And he has one of the funniest lines where Cole realizes that the orgs are not humans. Like, you don't have a heart. And you don't have a brain. Yeah, that was a funny line. Hey, Jon Snow, glad you made it. I remember when she was on the roller coaster and didn't like it. Yeah, Taylor is a buzzkill. Also, I remember how she met Eric, how he gave her a ticket because she was speeding. Yeah, Taylor's a bad influence on kids. Never thought the Silver Guardians were like police. Yeah, I thought they were more like soldiers, like G.I. Joe, but nope, they can also give speeding tickets. Barbed wire guy, he's actually pretty funny, and I do like his powers and design. Definitely a creepy villain, which is why he scores some points, but we'll put him on B. He's a villain for an episode, and of course they blow him up, fight him in Giant, where they blow him up again. Speaking of which, let's also get the camera guy, our third villain, who we'll also put on B because he gets points for nearly killing Taylor, the works Yellow Ranger. This is the evil camera guy where basically if he snaps your picture it causes you to disappear in real life, say cheese and die style. And he's more or less a goon working for Jindrax and Toxica, but I do like his powers and he wins points for nearly killing Taylor, who sucks. I wonder why Cole didn't ask why orgs don't have hearts. Well, Cole believes in the good nature and everything, and he thinks the orgs can be redeemed, but he finds out, no, they are satanic monsters. You don't have a heart, and you don't have a brain. Funniest exchange all episode. Alright. So, let's get our first bad one out of the way. Princess Shayla. Princess Shayla, the mentor of the Wild Force Rangers, is our first D. Princess Shayla sucks. Oh god, does she suck. This is one of the worst mentors of Power Rangers. Basically, The princess is the leader of the Animarium. She is the wise, noble sage guardian who helps mentor the rangers and fights to protect the animals, except she sucks at combat and is not even close to wise. Screw this bitch. She sucks. She sucks. They only kept her around because she's hot. Basically, Princess Shayla is an emotionally frail weakling who tries to be the optimist of the Rangers, tries to be their team mom, but she can't even give good advice. What? Be prepared for all the negative comments from her fans. Yeah, bring it on. I hate Princess Shayla. She is useless. She is useless, man, and half the time she gets captured. She's not very smart because she doesn't offer any good sage advice to the Rangers. I swear, this is half her dialogue. Princess, how many orgs are there? I don't know. Princess, how do we save Merrick? I don't know. Princess, how do we overcome Master Org's power? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Is there anything you do know, bitch? She is completely stupid and she is useless. This is one of the worst mentor figures ever because she doesn't really offer any help to the Rangers. Oh, and she gets captured more times than April O'Neil. She is pretty much a dumb damsel in distress, gets captured by many of these monsters of the weeks, and in the finale, even Master Org abducts her piss easy. I wouldn't say she sucks, but she's not the best. But that fight scene with Toxica was pretty cool. Oh, you mean that one time she kicked? She finally fights back when Toxica kidnaps her for the 4th time. She finally kicks her and says, I am a guardian too, and I can fight. And then she gets captured, pretty much making that scene completely worthless. Yeah, all this hype for her that she's an old guardian, she is a former warrior princess, she never demonstrates that once. I swear, the biggest contribution she has in this show is she sings to the Deer Zord. That's it. She sings to calm the Deer Zord twice, and the scene that pretty much turned me against her was basically this evil ocarina monster destroys her song. She's trying to sing to the Deer Zord. The ocarina monster disrupts Merrick and the princess's performance, and she completely turns on Merrick without any thoughts given. I had 2 friends who got into fight of which footwear shoe wore sandals or heels. That's dumb, yeah. And basically the scene that turned me against Shayla is she breaks up with Merrick. She has like a fight with him and she says, I can't deal with him. He's immature and selfish and I can't stand him anymore. It's like, oh, shut up. He was locked in a tomb for 3,000 years and you're thinking about yourself. The Princess Shayla sucks. She is one of the worst mentors ever. Oh, and by the way, her romance with Merrick goes absolutely nowhere. They have this cute romance where they dated 3,000 years ago. He was her bodyguard. He had a crush on her. She obviously had feelings for him, but she breaks it up in the finale, telling Merrick that he has to live in the human world now. No reason given as to why, they just don't hook up, which made me hate her. Yeah, Princess Shayla, she's bad. She is bad. She's going here on D. Do not like this chick at all. But you know who I do like? Let's do Jindrax, Master Org's goofy second in command, the Knife Duke of Orgs. Jindrax actually going into S tier. Yeah, I know, kind of surprised, but Jindrax, and we'll also put Toxica up here. Yeah, Jindrax and Toxica, both S tier. So, I mean no exaggeration when I say Wild Force was 100% carried by the villains. The villains are the best part of this show, and Jindrax and Toxica, easily 2 of the best villains in Power Rangers. So, Jindrax is a Duke of Orgs, and so is Toxica. She's a Duchess of Orgs. Basically, Toxica's a magic witch, while Jindrax is a knife thrower. He's the Duke of Daggers. He specializes in throwing knives, basically. These 2 are Master Org's bumbling second-in-commands. They're a part of his inner villain circle. Jindrax and Toxica start out as goofy-ass comic relief villains, but surprisingly get a lot of character development as the show goes on. Gindrax and Toxica, the Team Rocket of Wild Force, yeah, nothing goes their way. They constantly lose to the Power Rangers, constantly get abused by Master Org, constantly question their place amongst the Org ranks, and actually get a nice redemption arc, surprisingly, by the end. Gindrax and Toxica, very funny villains. They are pretty much petty goofballs for the first half of the series, until they realize Master Org is a human in disguise. Toxica and Gindrax realize Master Org is actually a human dude, where Master Org brainwashes them until they break the spell, and Gindrax and Toxica finally get a smart moment where they recruit one of the ancient Org generals to replace him, realizing that Org's an evil human, and they exile him, basically. Master Org's killed, thrown off a cliff, and replaced by the infamous Mandalok. We'll get to him, but yeah. Then, unfortunately, Toxica and Gindrax realize that they do not have any respect amongst the Orgs. Mandalak and Master Org make it very clear that they are completely expendable. They do not care about their lives or feelings or whatever. Yeah, there was a rumor myth that those two were meant to be Cole's parents. That was kind of a thing going up, that it was implied that Gindrax and Toxica were really Cole's parents. Master Org didn't kill them, but he mutated them into Orgs like him. And at the end of the series, Gindrax and Toxica were going to be revealed to be Cole's missing parents, who were brainwashed into evil, bumbling villains all along. But that didn't happen, and honestly didn't make any sense, because Gindrax and Toxica implied that they've been around for 5,000 years, and knew Master Org when the real Org was alive. So yeah, kind of going against the plot. Sorry, I need some water. Alright. So, Toxica eventually starts losing it when the Orgs do not respect her. Her general pretty much mistreats her, abuses her. One of the Starscream Orgs tricks her into cutting off her own Org horn to successfully invade the Animarium and abduct the princess, because Princess Shayla is so useless that even Toxica can kick her ass. You mentioned 3,000 years in Power Rangers, and that reminded me of Lost Galaxy. Linkara mentions that, yeah. 3,000 years is the term they do use. Toxica is eventually betrayed by an evil Starscream Org named Onikage, who was using her all along, and General Mandalok uses her as a human shield to take a blast meant for him, where Toxica dies, and Gindrax completely turns against the Orgs. We find out Master Org, the real one, was still alive and plotting this elaborate revenge scheme, where Gindrax has the princess and runs away with her. Gindrax completely heartbroken that Toxica died. Don't worry, she gets better. Gindrax undergoes a redemption arc where he realizes he doesn't like the Orgs. He's fed up with their ways. He's tired of being an expendable, stupid foot soldier that they don't care about. And he completely betrays Master Org and Mandalok and revives Toxica, saves her, and it's very cute because it's implied that these two had some minion shipping going on. Also, that Toxica is the only Org to look human and a real Org. Yeah, exactly like Vipra. For someone who's an evil satanic monster, she's surprisingly the hottest one on the team, so we could have a hot chick amongst all these guys in goofy outfits. Toxica's like the token hot Org amongst the team. Very funny, and Sin Wong looks very pretty. I liked her in her ninja outfit, where she was fighting the princess. She looked her hottest there. But yeah, Toxica is actually a pretty human woman, while Gindrax is this goofy Summon Skull looking type of guy. Yeah, I always thought he was the Summon Skull as a kitten because he did look like him. Basically, Gindrax revives Toxica, uses the ranger weapons to charge her horn, where he brings her back from the dead, and the two help them betray Master Org and save the princess. I remember there's like this really cute moment where the princess kisses Gindrax and Toxica's clearly jealous. Very clear that these two were supposed to end up together. So, Toxica and Gindrax actually get a redemption arc. They help save the princess, foil Master Org by sealing up the Nexus, their evil demon realm, and that's seemingly the end. Gindrax and Toxica retire from being evil and walk off in the sunset to find themselves in a better future, implying that they might get together, but if they were Cole's parents, that was definitely left on the cutting room floor, and they never answered that. Personally, I'm kind of glad they kept Cole's parents dead, because it gave a dark, serious, mature moment in the show. But yeah, Toxica and Gindrax, very likable, really like them. Gindrax and his brother actually had a nice relationship where they're Team Carnival, and we actually get to see a human side to these villains. Gindrax and Toxica undergo better character developments than the frickin' Rangers themselves, so that is why they're S tier. They are definitely a likable, bumbling villain duo. But Jon Snow, if you're listening, I do think Vipera is still way hotter than Toxica. Yeah, we'll put him on S tier. Alright, let's get another Ranger out of the way. Let's talk about Alyssa, Noble Tiger, the White Ranger. Ageist Alyssa, also going on A. So, Alyssa's pretty hot, and that's about all I can tell you. She's basically the girly girl, the nice girl. She's the optimist, friendly, kind-hearted, shy girl on the team. Implied to be Cole's love interest at times, but unfortunately that didn't go anywhere in the finale. So, basically, Alyssa is the nice girl. She's the one in white. She's the White Ranger. She's the Noble Tiger. She wants to become a teacher, and that's sort of dabbled from time to time on the show. She gets one episode where she has a fight with her disapproving father, who's a martial artist. Unfortunately, it kind of goes nowhere. Like, Alyssa could have been great, but she's not all that. I wouldn't call her hot. Cute, maybe, but not hot. Well, I thought Alyssa was very pretty. She's much prettier than Taylor, that's for sure. So, Alyssa's basically the kind girl. She's trying to be the voice of reason among the Rangers. She's the level-headed, mature one. She gets like the most friendship with the Zords because she's kind of the innocent girl. Really like her, really adorable. I liked her a lot better than Cole because Alyssa's very cute. But honestly, she doesn't do much. That is another problem. Alyssa is another Ranger among the team just to fill out that 5 team members quota. She does actually get shown in the finale. She became a teacher, and in the twist, we find out Alyssa was narrating the Wild Force story to her kindergarten class all along. Yeah, me neither. Ira, you don't think she's hot? I thought the girl who played Alyssa was pretty hot, but yeah, some will say cute. She's more bubbly, she's friendly, adorable, kind of dorky. She's a lot more friendlier than the other Rangers. Basically, in the finale, we find out Alyssa was the narrator all along, telling about the Wild Force legend, and she was sharing this with her kindergarten class. Once again, there was supposed to be an alternate ending where Alyssa and Cole got married, and the students should have called her like Mrs. Evans or something, because that's Cole's last name, basically, and they were going to imply that the White and Red Ranger got married. Unfortunately, that never happened, so it made Alyssa a lot more forgettable. Kind of forgot she even existed. Yeah, the White Tiger Ranger, she's only A. She wins points for her cuteness, but as a character, this is another one of the more forgettable Rangers. Jen and Kimberly were hotter. Hey, for me, Maya the Jungle Princess and Vipera, they're definitely hot, yeah. Definitely Trakina, too. Liked Amy Miller. She was hot as a bug princess, surprisingly. Yeah, Alyssa, we'll put her on A. She's an okay tiger. Not a top kitty, though. Alright, so I'm sure my friend Emily really wants to see this character. Let's finally talk about Zen-Aku. This is the evil wolf knight. You can't see him fully because this photo cropped out his head. I guess Zen-Aku was just too big. But we'll put Zen-Aku up on S tier, because of course he's going on S tier. Zen-Aku is one of the ultimate arc villains of Power Rangers. This is surprisingly introducing us to our 6th Ranger. There's a noble wolf warrior org who is an ancient warrior who was sealed away in a tomb. We find out this was actually Merrick, one of the former Power Rangers of the 3,000 year ago past. Zen-Aku, one of the fan favorite villains, and easily one of the best parts about Wild Force because he actually has an intricate character arc. Myra and Kendricks were hot too. Yep, fully agree. Rewatching Lost Galaxy as we speak. Maya was my Power Ranger crush, and Kendrix was smoking herself. Zen-Aku was amazing. Yes, he was. So, introduced in episode 10, Zen-Aku is this superpowered wolf warrior. The orgs release him, and Zen-Aku is undergoing a morality struggle. We find out he's not fully evil, but he's also not fully good because he is against the Rangers. Zen-Aku wants to steal and corrupt their Megazords. Master Org and one of his generals down here, Nazor, are basically manipulating Zen-Aku into doing their bidding until Zen-Aku slowly remembers who he really is. He's actually a guy named Merrick, an ancient warrior, one of the past Wild Force Rangers. He put on this ancient wolf Oni mask to use the power to save his tribe from the invading orgs. However, the mask corrupted him and turned him into the Wolfman warrior you see here. Zen-Aku, fan favorite villain, really liked him, very interesting. Basically everything Villamax and Ecliptor were, plus a ton of nightmare fuel. This guy pretty much wrecks the Power Rangers. He easily bests all 5 of them. He starts taking their Zords one by one as the arc goes on. They lose Elephant Zord, Giraffe Zord, the Twin Bears. Yeah, and he uses them to build his own badass Wolf Megazord, which is pretty awesome. Ultimately, Zen-Aku is saved. They ultimately free and break Merrick's curse, revealing that Merrick was a human guy all along, and the Zen-Aku persona dies, where Merrick undergoes his redemption arc, atoning for his sins he committed as the Monster Knight Zen-Aku. However, in a twist, this was not the end of Zen. We find out the wolf mask was revived for an org scheme, where basically Zen-Aku fought Merrick in their own bodies. They fight, and they finally killed him for good. And then out of nowhere, Zen-Aku shows up alive somehow in the finale, where he's now a full good guy and he becomes bros with Merrick, where they both go on adventures to atone and find themselves. I remember how in the end he made a metaphors about being a lone wolf. Yeah, that was his thing. He didn't work well with the other orgs. He worked alone. He did Master Org's bidding because he believed Master Org would give him his memories back. But spoilers, he did not because Master Org is evil and he was manipulating him. So, I'm not sure how the hell he came back in the finale. He's like alive somehow, but also good. He befriends Merrick and they become bros, traveling around the world, kicking ass and getting laid together. And Zen-Aku becomes a full-blown good guy by the end, which, yeah, kind of question mark there because he was killed off halfway in the series, but yeah, he's back. Yeah, he made a lot of metaphors. So, Emily, if you're watching this, Zen-Aku is definitely S tier for sure. Really liked him, liked his character arc, and was the first major threat to the Power Rangers, long before Master Org got his hands dirty, and Gindrax and Toxica were pretty pathetic, so yeah, Zen-Aku's S tier. Speaking of which, we should also put the Wolf Ranger up here. My brother Wolf's favorite Ranger, Merrick, the Wolf Wild Force Ranger. Merrick, also going on to S tier. This might be our only Wild Force Ranger, but Merrick is totally awesome. This is the real Wolf Ranger after he's freed from the Zen-Aku persona. After the Zen-Aku mask is removed and the curse is broken, Merrick becomes the Wolf Ranger, the Howling Wolf. He is the loner, he's the mysterious bad boy, he has this star-crossed romance with Princess Shayla down here, and ultimately becomes the Wolf Ranger, and yeah, I do think he's really cool. Love the badass wolf armor. He's my brother's favorite Power Ranger because of course he is. He might only appear in his head. That's what some people think. Anyways, Wolf Ranger, pretty badass. I did grow fond of his weird pool billiards weaponry. He has like a gun that can transform into a pool cue, and he uses his Zords as like cue balls to destroy monsters, trapping them in this like laser billiard game board and firing balls at them. And he has his own Megazord, the Wolf Zord. It's actually a wolf, a crocodile, and a hammerhead shark. All really cool animals, of course. My favorite moment of Merrick is how he goes to the bar and played pool. Yeah, Merrick is a lone wolf. He hangs out at this dive bar, beating up bikers using PG-13 threats and all that. Really awesome character. Merrick is one of the best Power Rangers. He is easily my favorite among the core team. The Wild Force Rangers, the main five, very scattered and all over the place. This guy, unironically, the best character. Basically, Merrick is atoning for his sins and growing fond of his team. He's branching out, making friends, and socializing again. His ultimate character arc is befriending the Wild Force team and fully earning his place among them. He makes friends, he trusts the team, they become family, basically, and he overcomes his past as Zen-Aku. The Predazord. Okay, that was its name. Yeah, Merrick hangs out at a dive bar, Wolverine style. Basically kicks these bikers out, befriends the wise old black guy who's the bartender. Really nice arc. So, at the end of the series, Merrick goes out on his own, and he apparently befriends Zen-Aku again. It's kept very vague if it's in his head or if Zen-Aku is somehow alive and good now, and basically they're both going to become traveling heroes, atoning for misdeeds, righting wrongs in places, and traveling the globe. Very nice end to his journey, basically, as Merrick is now fully a good guy, and still atoning for his dark and troubled past, but really like Merrick. The Wolf Ranger, easily the best of the Wild Force team. I'll be back. Bye, Jon Snow. Hope you make it back soon. So yeah, we'll put the Howling Wolf on S tier. So if Wolf is watching this, I still like this character. And he is, admittedly, the best of the Wild Force team. Alright, let's knock out some monsters. We'll get rid of the Ghost Bell guy, who we'll put on C. If you don't remember, this is the guy who haunted the Japanese forest area the Rangers were investigating. He has this magic bell, which he traps the Blue Ranger in, where the Black Ranger and the Blue Ranger use the power of friendship and never giving up to break it, where they double team the bell monster. Yeah, we'll put him on C. The wedding dress monster. I remember this chick. We'll put her onto B because she had her funny moments. This is the evil wedding bridezilla monster. A monster, if you can't see, in the form of a wedding dress. She was trying to ruin Danny's ex-girlfriend's wedding, and Danny undergoes this power of love type of story where he gets his groove back and kills the evil wedding monster. She has her funny moments for sure, and was a genuine threatening monster, but ultimately a really goofy one. We'll put her on B because she's at least funny. Like it is named Beetleborgs. Yeah, they all had simple names. You mentioned the battle between Princess and Toxica, and notice that in that scene where she kicked Toxica, she wore sneakers. Yeah, that was the stunt woman's fault. Hi, Cat. Hey, Kira. Yep, we're on Wild Force Power Rangers. Yeah, every org villain is basically named Object Org. Here's Camera Org. Here's Jet Engine Org. Barbed Org. Bell Org. Wedding Org. Yeah, very simple names. Very distinct and easy to remember. Speaking of which, we should also do the Bus Org. This guy helped Jinxer and Toxica ambush the Rangers and was a filler villain. We'll put Bus Org at least on B because I liked his funny design. He's kind of a Decepticon transformer. This is Bus Org. He turns into a bus and makes puns like, "This is your stop. Thank you for riding our org services." Yeah, we'll put him on B. He had his funny moments. Basically, he shows up in the Zen-Aku arc as a filler villain. Jinxer and Toxica use him to try and ambush the Rangers and capture their Zords, only to fail because Zen-Aku is more badass than them. Has his fight, he gets killed, and then turns into a giant monster where he's blown up again. Like Jungle Fury is just like Wild Force, but have sexy female Cheetah Ranger. Ooh, I'll have to watch that then. Like Toxica is just Rita Repulsa. Also a bit of Vipera mixed in there, but yeah. Maybe could be a Magic School Bus's evil cousin. Yeah, maybe. Alright, I guess since we talked about Zen-Aku, let's talk about Nazor. Nazor, the elite org general. I will actually put this guy up on A. This is the org who manipulated and mind-controlled Zen-Aku. He's one of Master Org's elite generals. He's summoned for the Zen-Aku arc to keep the Wolfman in their good graces and under control. We find out he's like an evil mage. He's using magic to manipulate Zen-Aku, and ultimately he's the final villain of the Zen-Aku arc, where basically the Wolf Ranger breaks free from his mind control and uses his wolf powers to kill this evil bastard. Really liked his nice cobra design, his creepy eyes, and those creepy Blade Ninja fans. Really iconic. I liked his voice too, so we'll put him on A. In the Power Rangers WAD Force, the orgs are technically an ogres because of the terms. Because in terms of being demonic Oni-like creatures, including Oni meaning ogre and demon in Japanese. Okay. Also, Master Org is better Emperor Belos done right. That's because Master Org is actually badass. Speaking of which, we should also put on his alternate form. I believe this is his Nazor's ultimate form. I could be wrong, but I don't see the other one, which was Toxica impersonating him. Yeah, okay, we'll put revived Nazor up here next to him. Speaking of which, we should also get the villain minions out of the way. The Putrids. The Putrids are the foot soldiers and expendable idiots that the Power Rangers fight this season, and we're gonna put them on B. The Putrids are a colossal step down. I really loved the Batlings and the Cyclobots, and the Putrids, very generic. They're generic henchmen. Basically, they're slimy ninjas. They look a lot like the Putties, but with sillier faces. They kind of have like Oni faces and morphing jar looking eyes. Did not really like these guys. I thought they were very basic. That is the problem. They are basically evil ninjas just covered in slime and have funny Japanese Oni faces. That almost was cool, but then you remember they're just basic foot soldiers that the Power Rangers beat up and blow up. Duke Org Artilla is there. Yep, he is. Yeah, the Putrids, they're basic. We're putting them on B because they do not stand out. The Cyclobots were way better. Speaking of which, we'll also put Artilla on here and the jet engine guy. Where is he? Sorry, I'm trying to find him. Got a bigger, better list this time. Here he is. Alright. Y'all put Artilla and Jet on here too. These were Mandaloc's replacements for Jindrax and Toxica, and they only lasted one episode before they both got killed. Yeah, these guys really sucked. They really sucked. Just checking if the pictures lined up there, but yeah. Artilla and Jet, but basically, they're super elite mooks. They nearly kill the Power Rangers, but the Power Rangers, thanks to Merrick finally getting his balls back and helping them, easily kill these two guys. They are terrible. They were built up as these ultimate replacement villains and a true challenge for the Rangers, only to get killed like every other guy on this list. Duke Org Artilla is there. Yep, he is. Like it feels like minions that Belos should have, then have then his bird minions. Okay. Yeah, I'd never finished the Owl House. I stopped at season 2, and season 3, my brother Wolf said was just alright, so haven't been inclined to even finish it. Alright, let's also knock off the bodyguard, Master Org's bodyguard, who will also be putting on B, but much higher than everyone else. This is, what's his name, like Retinax or something? I believe it's like an eye pun, Retinax. He's the bodyguard for the original Master Org. He is a vital villain for like one episode, then he gets killed. However, he actually gets killed not by the Rangers, but by Master Org. Retinax was the most loyal Org soldier, and he stood by Master Org's side during his attack and rule on the world. However, Master Org here actually kills him because Retinax realizes that Master Org is not his true master. He's killed because he knows too much. He's silenced by fake Master Org because he's actually Dr. Adler in disguise, and he kills him as a potential witness who could threaten his rule. And that is the end of Retinax until he comes back as a zombie minion for a later filler episode. So yeah, Retnak's going on B. I guess we should knock off another Wild Ranger. Alright, let's do Surfing Shark, Max. Max, going on to B. Yeah, I did not care for Max. Max is there. He exists. Max is basically the kid. He's supposed to be the bumblebee. He's the youngest. He wants to prove himself. None of the adults trust him. Except here's the problem. Max's actor looks the same age as everyone else on the team. So, yeah, they treat me like I'm a kid, like I can't do better. It doesn't work because he looks like he's 30. Yeah, Max is basically the young, naive kid. Everyone treats him like he's a boy, and his arc is proving that he's a man. Max has a pretty cool mode. He's the Shark Ranger, and sharks are awesome. I really like them. Love them as a kitten. I believe my brother Wolf actually went as Max for Halloween, but that's only because the Blue Ranger's outfit was cool, and not because Max was a compelling character. Oh, Surging Shark. I don't know why I always think Surfing Shark, because that sounds way more badass and more accurate. So, Max, exactly like Taylor, doesn't get to do much. He's in some comic arcs, like comical relief arcs, I mean. He's in like funny episodes, he's the goofball, he's the butt of the jokes, trying to prove he's not a kid, failing every time until the final few episodes. Max is kind of just there. I did not find him very compelling as a ranger, and it does not help that he is completely flattened by Lucas, the Blue Time Force Ranger, who is more badass than everything Max wishes he was. Max, basically, in the end, he and Danny become bros traveling around the world. The one thing I care about Max is his friendship with Danny. They both have this cute friendship where they never give up. They're always going to be by each other's side, have each other's backs. They're total bros, never give up. That actually did make me like them more. Max and Danny are the only Rangers among the core 5 who actually feel like friends, because this Rangers did not have very good chemistry with one another. So, Max, he and Danny basically become travelers. They go around the world righting wrongs, meeting people, and spreading their never give up on yourself philosophy, which is pretty nice, pretty cute. Unfortunately, I can't really say much about the character personally because he did not stand out very well. He wanted to prove he wasn't a kid, and he kind of did in the finale, but it's not very satisfying. This shark needed to swim a lot longer. Philip Gene Mary is his actor. Hey, Kat, we're doing Power Rangers now. Kat, love this franchise. I do love the Power Rangers. Up until SPD, which is where I stopped watching. Feels like better than Max Kante since Season 5 made him less smart about the Alliance rings. Yeah, okay. Max, pretty generic as a Blue Ranger, not gonna lie. He is completely outclassed by Lucas, by Billy. The only one he's on the even ground with is Chad. This shark needed to swim a lot better. But let's end our last Wild Force Ranger with Iron Bison, Danny. And Danny I liked a lot more than the rest of these guys. Danny I'm putting on A. This is Danny. He's the gentle giant. He's the socially awkward, big buff guy, but super nice and friendly and likes tending flowers. Danny I actually liked. His acting kind of weak. I'm not sure if this was intentional, but they kind of give him like this weird autistic persona. He's like not super social and he doesn't use his words very well. He's kind of slow-witted, but has a good heart, has a good nature to him, which I did really appreciate. And I love his friendship with Max. Danny is much better because he feels like an actual person you relate and care about. Would you watch Mystic Force and do a list? Spoiler, the Red Ranger is one of the worst. Not sure. Mystic Force, never watched it. I saw trailers of it back when it was on Disney XD, but never actually watched it, and the worst Red Ranger being in it makes me want to watch it less. Jack Guzman played Danny. Yeah, okay. He played Daryl Bellamy in Crossing Jordan TV series, never saw it, and Sleeping Beauty, 2007, never saw it, and Pedestrian in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Oh, that narrows it down. Bison, I thought it was a bull. Yeah, it pretty much is. He's he calls himself a bison, but he looks more like an ox. I always thought he was an ox, but no, he has the power of the iron bison. He has super strength. He can charge into things, he can break anything, but Danny's a nice guy. He like sleeps with a teddy bear, he tends flowers. He is total bros with Max, the shark ranger down here. Danny I liked a lot more than most of the rangers because he was a genuine nice guy. He was the shy and socially awkward dude with the heart of gold. He fought for his friends, so really liked that. He had one major episode where basically his ex-girlfriend was getting married to some rich douchebag, but Danny still had feelings for her. They get together. Danny reveals he still loves her and he is jealous that she's getting married. The ex-girlfriend pretty much dumps the douchebag boyfriend and decides she loves Danny, but Danny can't be with her because he's a Power Ranger. And then their romance is never touched upon again after he retires from being a ranger. Yeah, they kind of drop his love interest super fast. She disappears like halfway through. Also, Guzman is the first Latino American actor to play a Power Ranger. Yeah, good for him. Really liked that about him. Looking forward to when you do The Lost Galaxy, especially with my personal insectoid waifu, Trakina. Yeah, Trakina's hot as hell. She might make my Power Rangers crushes tier list too. Like Miraculous should have learned from Wild Force. He's Latino? Yeah, apparently he is. Danny's actor is Latino. I'm not sure if the character was supposed to be... Well, wait, his name is Danny Delgado, and yeah, Delgado is a Spanish last name, but not like a Mexican last name. Yeah, he's the first Latino male Power Ranger, and I did like that about him. I did like that he actually was a new race of Power Ranger, and Danny was pretty likable. He's the lovable big guy, he's the nice jock, the kind-hearted, gentle soul, has his super strength, doesn't know his own strength, he accidentally breaks things, accidentally offends his other Rangers because he's so antisocial. He and Max have a tight broship. I love the never give up dynamic they have. That actually made him stand out way more above Taylor and way more above Cole because he actually had a close friendship with everyone. Danny was a nice guy and definitely kicked ass in the finale by far. So, at the end, Danny and Max kind of have the same ending. They both actually stay friends, and they become travelers helping people around the world. They're exploring the entire globe, righting wrongs, spreading their philosophy about never giving up on yourself, which I really liked. Danny and Max are the only two who actually felt like friends on the Power Rangers. And that is kind of my problem with this team. None of the Rangers really felt like friends, except for Danny and Max. These two actually felt like they were growing as bros. They felt like they had each other's back. They actually had a nice dynamic. And in the end, they're the only two Rangers who actually stuck together, while all the others went their separate ways, which was kind of my problem with the Wild Force team. It felt like nobody liked each other, which is why I like Danny a lot more, because Danny actually did cherish his friends. So the Iron Bison, definitely an A-tier Power Ranger for me. Speaking of Black Rangers, I'd like for you to do Operation Overdrive and talk about the Black Ranger. Operation Overdrive sucks, Ira. I thought the White Ranger was Latino. She's Latina. Yeah, Alyssa, she's a female. That's Latina. Yeah, Alyssa and Danny are both the Hispanic Rangers. Cole was white, Max was black, and Taylor was also white. I believe she was more European, but yeah. So, Danny, he'll go on A. He and Alyssa, definitely the two best Rangers of the core 5, but pale in comparison to Merrick, who is our S-tier Ranger. Alright, we got some good characters here, so let's knock off some monsters. Lawnmower guy. We're gonna put him on D because he literally just shows up to die. This is the lawnmower monster. He chases kids who are on his lawn and threatens them. He likes to cut grass, basically. He shows up in a filler episode where he just gets killed. Like, Zen-Aku is the one who kills him, not even the Rangers. The lawnmower guy sucks. He showed up for like 5 seconds, then died. The Ocarina Monster. We'll put him on C because he was a threat, but he was a really annoying villain. The Ocarina Monster controls people with music. He's a Pied Piper type of villain. He tries to take control of the Rangers using his music, and his biggest victory is that he breaks up Princess Shayla and Merrick by ruining Merrick's song for the Deer Zord, and Merrick beats him with the power of music. Yeah, definitely a C-tier villain. Speaking of which, the Bowling Monster. Yeah, we're also gonna put you on C because this was a goofy-ass villain. This is the evil Bowling Monster and the first personal archenemy for Max. We find out Max used to be a bowling champion, and this guy is an evil bowling ball. He balls people down with his org bowling balls. Yeah, the stupidity of that speaks for itself. We'll put him on C. More specifically, I'd like for you to talk about the controversy of the Overdrive Black Ranger. I think somebody else beat me to it. Hey, Jon Snow, I'm back. We just finished the core Rangers up here. We put Danny and Alyssa on A, but we put Max down on B because he was definitely a basic Ranger. Between this Pied Piper monster or the Shrek one, which would you prefer? The Shrek Pied Piper because he was actually badass. Like Billy Bobby Bowling Hands, yeah. Basically, the bowling monster gets killed when Max masters the ultimate bowling roll. And yeah, that blows him up twice, once as a monster and once as a giant kaiju. Yeah, this guy sucks. Speaking of sucking, yeah, here he is. Let's put the Rap Monster down in D. Yeah, you remember this guy, guys. He's the Rap Monster. He uses rap. Yo, 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 Rangers gotta go. Yeah, this guy, annoying. Glad he died. He didn't stick around long. He's on D. Speaking of which, we should also put the Junk Monster down here. A monster literally made of human waste. The Junk Monster, also D. These two, annoying villains, very unfunny comic relief monsters. I am glad they only stuck around for 5 minutes before they died. Like the Power Rangers love rapping monsters. Well, unfortunately, the fans don't. Speaking of which, we should also put the evil motorcycle monster, Taylor's archenemy. We'll put him next to her onto C. This is the evil motorcycle demon. Taylor fought him once long ago in her rookie Yellow Ranger days, but he was just a trike back then. Now he's a man's motorbike. And he's basically an evil bad guy for Taylor to fight, but Taylor's just as boring as he is. Yeah, this guy, he's on C. I think the A rank section, the generals from the Machine Empire should be, I think for the A-rank section, the generals from the Machine Empire, because any fan knows they are the battle armor from the big bad Beetleborgs. Yeah, the Beetleborgs are on this list if you haven't noticed. Trying to narrow some of the garbage monsters off this list first. Speaking of which, the Ringmaster. The Ringmaster I actually might put onto A. This guy was actually one of the few funny villains. This is the Circus Ringmaster. Basically, the orgs get desperate for new recruits, where they recruit this washed-up circus ringmaster who has the power to control animals. And they use him to control the Wild Force Rangers, and him making Alyssa kneel down and act like his kitty cat was definitely a hot moment, so I praise him for that. He even controlled the Megazords because he was that powerful. Definitely a very threatening villain, and one of the rare funny comic relief monsters. I'll put him on A, because that is awesome. Like, I think the Red Lion Ranger actor is controversial. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. He killed his roommate. Feels like better than the King of Plastic and Miraculous. Or, you know, the Time Rapper. I think... Okay, read that one. Like, feels like Marvel Comics Ringmaster. Kind of. What do you think of doing a review on Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad? Never heard of it. Alright, now let's do a bad one. General Mandalok. More like Manadork. Manadork going on to D. Yeah, this guy sucks. I think people agree that this is one of the worst characters of the series. So, Master Org gets exposed as a human and temporarily killed, where he's replaced by General Mandalok, one of Master Org's elite generals, who is a total Starscream who takes over the Orgs, and he is a completely terrible replacement for the fan favorite Ranger monster. General Mandalok, he sucks, he is bad, he is annoying, and his motivation is very lame. He might be the first non-binary monster because he has a woman's voice and a man's voice on his torso, and just like many non-binaries, he's a total monstrous freak. This guy, really terrible villain. All he thinks about is eating, and he wants to remove the Power Rangers because they're ruining his feast. He's a glutton. He's a representation of the sin of gluttony. However, this show did not know how to make that cool, and all he does is eat, and he abuses Gindrax and Toxica, and this bastard is responsible for Toxica's death. Don't worry, she got better, but he betrayed Toxica, used her as an expendable pawn, and when the Rangers tried to assassinate him, he used Toxica as a human shield, which ended up killing her. Finally, you have a good use to me. And yeah, really hate him. Absolutely hate him. Like, have you heard that Warner Brothers stopped making Looney Tunes? Yeah, I heard that because their new movie bombed, and like idiots, they think that means nobody likes Looney Tunes anymore, so they're getting rid of it. I never realized Mandalok had a male and female personality. Yeah, he has like a woman's voice on his head area, but a man's voice from his torso. Like, feels like Gluttony in Full Metal Alchemist. Kind of, but Gluttony was actually funny on Full Metal, while this guy was just annoying. Basically, this guy replaced Master Org for like 10 episodes of a 40-episode season, and his best moment is getting killed by Master Org when Master Org reveals he's alive and OP. And yeah, he has the most satisfying death where basically he's completely assassinated and blown up off a cliff, like how he tried doing to Master Org. I'm back, what'd I miss? Hey Shadow Link, we're on Mandalok. More like Mandadork. We're talking about the replacement for Master Org and why he sucked. Ah, good. Mandalok is bottom tier, deserves it. He was terrible. Yeah, he also killed Toxica, which made me hate him. Basically, Mandalok is an abusive douchebag, completely ungrateful to Gindrax and Toxica for unfreezing him, and he sacrifices Toxica to get a victory on the Rangers, and his only good moment is being killed by Master Org when Master Org comes back to reveal he's powerful once more, and blows him the hell up off a cliff as payback. Mandalok, he is on D. He is terrible. He is a god-awful replacement filler villain, and completely paled in comparison to Zen-Aku and Master Org completely. Like, when are we having a Red Rangers tier list? Well, if you notice, we got some down here. Wanted to clear off Wild Force's monsters first. It's like when Louis Kaboom took over the Machine Empire. Or Captain Mutiny for my Lost Galaxy fans. Mandalok was annoying, did not like him. He is a dud. Master Org absolutely made the best character by killing this loser. Mandalok is a Mandadork. Speaking of which, we should also get off Corrupted Toxica and Corrupted Gindrax. Basically, these are brainwashed versions of Toxica and Gindrax. After they uncovered that Master Org was secretly a human in disguise, he silenced them by brainwashing them into corrupted Toxica and Gindrax, who are basically the exact same people, but with different costumes. Basically, they have no memory of Master Org, and they exist in this form for like 2 episodes before the Rangers blow them up and knock off their brainwashed parts off of them, where Toxica and Gindrax revert back to their likable, jolly selves and kick Master Org out for the terrible Mandadork. Hated Captain Mutiny. Ah, you hated him, Jon Snow. Yeah, really hated him because Trakina was way hotter. Like Barbara Goodson also played Dr. Ashley Kafka in Spider-Man the Animated Series. Okay. Yeah, Corrupted Gindrax and Toxica, basically the same character but different outfits, and they forgot Master Org was human. They're in this form for like 2 episodes, then they're blown back into their normal selves. Alright, let's get rid of Killdozer. who will also be putting on B, evil bulldozer who likes to destroy forests, and the Rangers fight him in a filler episode where Zen-Aku is the real villain. Bulldozer, basic villain, and old-fashioned human pollution type of villain. He's deforesting the forest, and the Rangers solve that by blowing him the hell up. Speaking of which, evil traffic light villain will also be putting on C. We'll put the Ocarina org ahead of him. Okay, the evil stoplight villain, basically he erases Cole's memories and he's kind of a filler villain in the background. His only important contribution is he erases Cole's memories and makes him forget he's the Red Ranger. Then they basically spend the episode getting the Red Ranger back, or they blow this guy up. Yeah, C tier villain. I see Ninja Steel that made a crossover, and Tommy Oliver is a father now and has a son. Who did Tommy have a son with? Kimberly? Speaking of which, evil wind-up robot. I will actually put him on B because I liked him a bit more. I liked his robot voice. Basically, the Power Rangers are depowered, and this villain is dispatched to assassinate the Rangers when they don't have their powers, and he ultimately fails. Power Rangers are boring me. Yeah, I liked his voice and liked the old classic wind-up toy look, but that's about it. We'll put him on B because he's a basic villain. Speaking of which, evil clock guy also going on to C tier. Really forgot this guy even existed. He's another filler villain. He pretends he's a ghost and then they blow him up. He is married to Cat. Oh, Signal Org, okay. Wait, Tommy's not married to Dr. Cat. Dr. Cat exists in SPD. Or are you talking about a different cat? I could be forgetting that. Jukebox Org will also put on C. Sorry, guys, these are like very basic monsters. Master Org, Gindrax, and Toxica were the real developed villains. They got the real character developments, while a lot of these guys are basically jobbers. Knock them out before we get to the ones you want to talk about. Alright, so let's knock a bad one out of the way. Let's talk about Animus, aka Kite, who, yep, going on to D. This kid also sucks. Kite/Animus, one of the most hated mentor characters of Power Rangers history, and it is not hard to see why. Cat from Zeo. Okay, and the second pink Mighty Morphin Ranger. I thought Tommy was into Kimberly. They had like a whole romance going on. Yeah, okay, so he dumped Kimberly for Cat. Animus died, yeah, and deserved it, yeah. Alright, finally, talk about the elephant in the room, Kite, aka Animus. So, Animus is actually the god of the Animarium. He's this magical forest spirit / giant megazord who gives wise advice to the Rangers, is their sacred god protector, watching over the trees and the forest and empowering the power for the Rangers. So, during an arc, this weird kid named Kite shows up, basically this homeless runaway street urchin wandering around the town the Rangers are protecting. The Rangers take him in, and we slowly figure out that there's more to this kid than meets the eye. This kid is actually the human incarnation of their god Animus, who took the form of this boy named Kite, who is giving a secret test of character to the Power Rangers, basically testing them if they're worthy to be Rangers, if they're worthy to be heroes. And I absolutely hated him because he is a preachy, smug, arrogant, self-righteous brat. Since Kimberly dumped Tommy by a letter. Oh, she did. I don't remember that. But yeah, Kimberly and Tommy broke up. That is news to me. Especially because I just saw them together in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. But yeah, Kimberly and Tommy did not hook up then. Alright. I remember him from that episode with Taylor and the roller coaster. Yeah, basically, for a few filler episodes, this kid screws around. Taylor and Max take him to a carnival where Kite gets taken hostage on a roller coaster. Taylor hilariously vomits on the roller coaster. Basically, this boy takes away the Rangers' powers because they didn't stop pollution. They didn't stop humanity from destroying the Earth, and they should be letting the orgs terrorize people because the orgs were created by the pollution and waste that humans leave behind. Adam from Hazman Hotel, kinda. Almost. Basically, he's a self-righteous douchebag. He declares the Rangers as not worthy to hold the power, and he completely depowers them, takes away their Megazords, takes away their super-duper special abilities, and leaves the Rangers high and dry to fight the orgs all on their own without his help. And the world is pretty much screwed because the orgs are going to destroy everything. He does bring up some good points about what humans do to the environment. Yeah, by pointing out that the Rangers should kill factory workers and destroy the factories and workers there. Like, he says, you should be fighting humanity instead of letting them destroy the Earth. And Cole points out that they're just trying to make progress. They're not trying to destroy the Earth on purpose. It is an unfortunate side effect that these factories are doing. And what are the Rangers supposed to do? Allow the orcs to kill these innocent humans? Like, blow up factories? Destroy them for the environment? Yeah, that's noble and heroic. Like, feels like better written Captain Planet. Like, is the Shadow Rangers on there? Since they're created by Onikage. Sorry, Shadow Rangers are not on here. I'm sorry. Got a big amount of Red Rangers anyway, but yeah. So, Kite basically declares the Rangers as losers, and in a complete bullcrap retcon, that he reveals that this is all a secret test. He was testing the Rangers if they would still fight the fight anyway and earn their morphers back. The Rangers show that humans are capable of good. Humans are just animals who are trying to live, and they make mistakes too, like the natural animals of the forest. And they get their morphers and powers back because they passed his bullcrap test. And yeah, it is complete bullcrap. It is total BS. They pulled it right out of their asses. They basically did not want to make this kid look bad because, yeah, in the next episode, the Rangers prove that humanity has a soul, and he gives them back their powers, where they blow up the evil robot monster this week, this guy. And they win Animus's good graces and support again. And then we never see Animus again until he gets killed by Master Org in the finale. And I did not feel sorry for him because this guy was a douchebag. Like, I feel bad that all the Power Rangers ranking from Mighty Morphin to Cosmic Fury. Cosmic Fury I have not heard good things about. But yeah, Kite, this might be the worst character on this list. He is going on to rock bottom because he is the biggest dud of the series. Alright, Powerline guy. We'll put you on to C. He was an okay monster, evil electric psycho monster, another generic villain of the week. I see all the Beetleborgs. Okay, we'll also put, I believe this is Evil Toxica. This one might be too. This might be Toxica when she took Nazor's super crown and powered herself. We'll put her on to A because it's just Toxica in another mutant form. This time she has Nazor's powers. Toxica stole Nazor, this guy here's crown, after he died, and it empowered her into this green Toxica form, you see, where she goes on a rampage and attacks the Rangers, nearly succeeding at killing them until they unlock new toy powers and beat her, where the crown falls off and she reverts back to normal Toxica. Sorry, been so quiet, have been here, just been lurking while I was doing other stuff. With the fan, can be a little bit more active now. Hey Emily, glad you're back. Okay, but he is right about being a kid or an adult being irrelevant. Well, I'm pointing that out too by putting him onto D, Ira. Like Turbo and Megaforce sucks, yeah. No, Lost Galaxy was good, and that was after Turbo. I hated Kite or Animus, whatever you want to call him. Kid was just stupid. Yeah, him depowering the Rangers and telling them they're bad protectors and that, oh, it's okay, this was all a test. Total bullcrap. Total bullcrap. Kite is D. He is the worst. but I feel less cringe than Miraculous Season 5. I've not watched that and not seen the London special. Since I hate Chloe's mayor is wrong, like she is below 18 since 18-year-olds, yeah, aren't old enough to be mayor. Hey Emily, glad you can make it. So, wasn't able to hear everything you'd be ranking. Did you do Gindrax and my Wolf Boys? Yes, Emily, Merrick, Zen-Aku, and Gindrax all made S tier because they are the best characters of Wild Force, along with Toxka and all her alternate forms here. Yeah, if you're late, Merrick, Zen-Aku, Gindrax, Master Org in both his regular and ultimate Org form, and Toxka and all Toxka's all other forms, all S tier, they're all S tier. These are the best characters. The show really was carried by the villains. The villains are the best part. Yeah, don't worry, Emily. Gindrax and both Merrick in his Ranger and Zen-Aku form, they're all up here, next to Master Org. Master Org still hasn't been dethroned. He is still the #1 character so far, but we still have more to go. Okay, I guess we should take out the Mute Orgs. So we finally get to the Time Force crossover. Time Force had 3 mutant org hybrids. Basically, we find out in Ranzik's backstory that Ranzik crossed paths with the orgs, and in exchange, they would heal him if he gave them some of their mutant powers and release them. The orgs gave Ranzik his special bone swords. The classic, he rips out a bone sword out of his body power, came from the orgs, and in exchange, Ranzik would give them mutant DNA to become life forms again, the Mute Orgs. And yes, one of them is clearly Deviant repainted, which is really funny. Good, glad you had the right opinions, unlike your hateful slander of my boy Trip from Time Force. JK. Ah, come on, Emily, Trip at least made A rank. Yeah, he wasn't S tier, but A is not a bad ranking. Anyways, the Mute Orgs. Alright, the Mute Orgs, they are basically boss fights for the crossover. It's more about the Time Force Rangers and the Wild Force put together, but I will put these guys on to B at least. Got the Mantis guy, got the weird pincer beetle guy, and I'll put this guy up top because he looks like Deviant. Yeah, this is clearly Deviant from Lost Galaxy, but they repainted him as a Mute Org. Basically, half mutants, half orgs. These guys are super duper elite boss fights for the Power Rangers of Time Force and Wild Force to beat together, and Ranzik is the one who ultimately defeats them. Ranzik, absorbs their explosive mutant energy, and they accidentally cure Ranzik, where we finally see, what was the name? Damn, I'm blanking. Wells' face without the makeup on, basically. I feel I could resist Turbo and Megaforce, since it is cringe at first, but I see it better than Thomas Astruck's writing of Miraculous. That's because Thomas Astruck lost his talent. If I was in a room of a kid-friendly Saw that I will watch either Turbo, Power Rangers movie, or Eternals, I choose Turbo Power Rangers more than Eternals like Marvel fail at. Yeah, I would watch Turbo over Eternals too, because Divatox is at least hot. And Johnny Young Bosch driving a SUV is really funny. Anyways, the Mute Orgs, they're fine. We'll put them on B. They were definitely elite boss fights, so they stand out amongst all the generic monsters down below. Speaking of which, Monster, I don't remember, also going on to C. Monster with funny Oni face, will put you on high C, next to the Ocarina monster at least. Don't remember these guys all too well. Don't worry guys, we'll get to the red soon, we're almost there. But I want to cross off some of these guys. Weird turtle guy, I don't remember this guy either. We'll put him on C. And this weird giant monster, this weird Mothra looking guy, we'll put you under Taylor at least. I don't remember you. A weird crescent moon guy. I do remember this guy, but I can't pinpoint the plot. We'll put you on B, actually. Liked his design. Really cool samurai monster there. trying to remember this guy. I know this is the train guy. Okay, now I remember this one is the choo-choo monster. Yeah, I'll put you on to B then. You were pretty funny. I liked his locomotive puns and his supercharged steampunk train. This guy's pretty cool, and ultimately he's the first org that Gindrax actually kills. Yeah, this guy nearly succeeds at killing the Rangers, but Gindrax is the one who saves them, and he blows up Train Org here. My theory is that destroying the mutant halves is what cured Ranzik. Okay, that is a pretty good theory. I like that Ranzik got his happy ending and redemption arc. Okay, that was Samurai Org. Okay, thank you, Akira. We'll put him down here. He and Choo Choo Train Org, they were definitely fun. We'll put him on the okay side. This is a weird org. I don't remember this one. I think this was the martial arts monster from Alyssa's episode. We'll put him on to C. He's an evil martial artist that Alyssa uses her family's fighting style to vanquish. And weird trident guy. I almost remember this guy, but I think we'll put him on B just to be safe. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I don't remember this guy with the ice and cold powers here. Oh, that is Karaoke Org. Okay, then we'll put him on C. Alright, let's do Gindrax's brother, Teen Carnival, and he actually makes it up to A. This is Gindrax's evil clown Pennywise brother. Basically, we find out Gindrax's backstory. Gindrax and his bro used to be performing clowns, their Teen Carnival. His brother uses his powers to basically torment people with his circus clown abilities. Gindrax recruits his bro to form a deadly alliance to prove to General Mandadork that Gindrax is useful. And basically this guy exists to humanize Gindrax. We find out he and his bro actually love each other. They're total friends. That he and Gindrax team up to kill the Power Rangers and Kite, so that won them some points. They nearly kill Kite, the Blue Ranger, and the Yellow Ranger. However, ultimately, his brother dies. He revives him with the magic seeds where he turns giant, and in a rare moment, Gindrax actually devours the magic org seeds too to become giant, where they double team the Rangers. But unfortunately, Clown Bro doesn't make it. He does die, and this triggers Gindrax's redemption arc. We actually see him angsting and sympathizing that his brother's gone. We see Gindrax, for the first time, very sad and depressed in the series because this guy's death actually affected him. Yeah, Juggalo, that's his name. Okay, that was Freezer Org. Thank you, Akira. When I saw the series, I never understood why they never had a fat person as a ranger, and what you would say would be discrimination. Because fat people can't run very well or do the stunt work that a lot of the Japanese actors do in the Sentai show. Yeah, there's Ship Org. Okay, that was Tire Org. Okay, and Tombstone Org. Those two are knife-throwing move. Yeah, I really like them. So, this guy gets points because, one, he's funny, and two, he does humanize Gindrax. After the Clown Org dies, Gindrax finds out that the orgs do not care that he's dead, and Gindrax actually feels sorry for him, and we actually see Toxica reach out to him and see their friendship made more solid because Toxica is all Gindrax has now after his brother's death. So we'll put the Clown Boy at A. He definitely had a huge impression on Gindrax's character arc. Some anime fat guys can run fast. Well, not Shoji. I think Bulk was the Orange Mighty Morphin Power Ranger in the comics. Okay, so they did have a fat guy ranger eventually. Okay, trying to remember who this was. This might be one of the Shadow Rangers. I believe this is Master Org's giant form, but I do like the design. We'll put him on A at least. We'll put him low on A in case it's not who I think it is. But yeah, this is, I believe, Ultimate Master Org in his giant mode. Pretty cool. He did kill a bunch of Megazords, so, maybe we'll put him on S. Alright. Ultimate Master Org in his Kaiju form. He will put him right on the S tier. Okay, so last major Wild Force character, Onikage, the Ninja Org. Onikage, surprisingly, going on to S tier. Yeah, this guy We'll put him underneath Toxica at least. This is Onikage. He was only in a two-parter, but man, did he leave a big impression. Onikage is an elite org assassin. He's recruited by General Manda Dork down here to do what Jindrax and Toxica failed, assassinate the Power Rangers. And Onikage, one of the best org generals ever, really liked him. This guy is confident, he's smart, he's deadly, and he has a lot more unique powers compared to the generic villains of the week down here. Dan Warren played Onikage. Like, I watch Power Rangers, we need Power Rangers opening tier list. Thinking about doing a top 10 Power Rangers intro songs. Anyways, Onikage really liked him. This guy is basically an evil Starscream. He tries to get on General Manda Dork's good side, and he actually outsmarts Jindrax and Toxica. He uses them as unwitting pawns for his ultimate evil plan to abduct Princess Shayla off the Animarium. Using Toxica as a sacrifice, he dupes her, throws her under the bus, has Toxica basically die, trapping Princess Shayla for him, where he gets all the credit, and he leaves Toxica for dead. General Mandalok lets Toxica basically die, taking a blast for him, and Onikage pretty much wins at the end. However, he scored a double victory because Onikage was actually working in the back pocket of Master Org. Yep, Master Org finally comes back and murders the hell out of Mandalok, blows him up, throws him off a cliff, and Onikage is Master Org's true right-hand man, finally takes over as an elite Org general, nearly kills the Rangers, has that awesome Shadow Zone ability. He takes the Rangers and even the Megazord into the Shadow Realm. Very lethal, very deadly. So deadly that Merrick the Wolf Ranger is the only one who's a threat to him. These are the Power Rangers' interesting outfits. Yeah. Yep, just like Survivor Series, Power Rangers openings are awesome. Fully agree. And Onikage dies in the Shadow Realm, and this guy really stood out amongst the generic villain of the weeks. Really liked him. I would say he's kind of like the Venom mark of this show. Very scary, very threatening, but also a lot more smart. He is definitely the superior Starscream villain, so we'll be putting him onto S tier. This ninja absolutely rocks. And now we're on the Forever Red, including all the Beetleborgs and all the Red Rangers. So, now you guys get to cast a vote. I'm going to use the restroom, but I'll be right back. So, you guys tell me who you want next. One of the Beetleborgs or one of those legendary Red Rangers. BRB. Go, go, Kitty Rangers. I went Tommy, legendary Tommy, R.I.P. Jason David Frank. Yep, he was great. Alright, you want the Beetleborgs? Okay, I guess we could take the Beetleborgs out of the way first. Alright, sorry guys, but don't worry, this will be fast. We're knocking out the Beetleborgs. So, the Forever Red monsters are these 5 Beetleborgs. Yeah, I know that's not what they actually are. Basically, they took the Beetleborg outfits and made them the villains of the Forever Red event. We find out the remnants of King Mondo's machine empire survived. These are survivors who served under King Mondo, the villain of Power Rangers Zeo, the machine empire villains. Basically, they somehow didn't get killed by Zordon Z-Wave and were never found across space. They have united because they've uncovered Lord Zedd's ultimate transformer, the Serpentera. Lord Zedd's ultimate Megazord, which is a giant Manda dragon. It was lost forever on the moon, and the Beetleborgs united the Machine Empire to uncover it and restart King Mondo's grand rule once more, finally invading Earth and roboticizing everyone. Never heard of the Beetleborgs? I know Ultraman and Kamen Rider. The Beetleborgs are basically a rival Power Ranger show, and it's all these guys. Only one of these Beetleborgs actually got any character. The others were just kind of there to be badass minions that the Red Rangers would beat up. So, we'll put the Beetleborgs. I believe this one is the leader, but I could be wrong. The Beetleborg leader, I could screw it. We'll put them all on B. I think this one is either one of these two. The green guy or the black guy was the leader. I know one of the Beetleborgs was voiced by Archie Cow, who played Kai on Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. He was the Blue Ranger. Yeah, the Beetleborgs, we'll put them all up on B, and yes, they are better than the Blue Ranger, that's for sure. So, the Beetleborgs find the Serpentera, Lord Zedd's ultimate Megazord. They want to use the giant Manda Dragon Megazord to take over the world, of course. And basically, the Red Rangers are the only hope to stop them because the Reds have the ultimate power. They are the leaders, they can fight, and they have the ability to vanquish the Serpentera for good if it ever rises. And the Beetleborgs are basically arc villains. They show up for one episode and multiple exists, and they're just there to get beat up by the Red Rangers who all double team them. Beetleborgs, I thought they were pretty good villains, but obviously the selling point is the Red Rangers, which is what we'll be getting to, but the Beetleborgs definitely deserve a B. Fun fact, the queen of the robot empire is voiced by Alex Borstein, and the leader is the Shadowborg. Okay, the Shadowborg is the leader. I believe that's this one. So, I guess we could put him above, but the Beetleborgs all had good designs because they just took the Beetleborgs and redesigned them as machines. Like, Wolf is missing the stream. Yeah, Wolf doesn't like a lot of the tier lists I've been doing, so Wolf isn't going to be exactly showing up. Alright, we finally made it to the last string, the Red Rangers. Yep, we got all of them here from the Saban era and who appeared in Forever Red. Basically, from Mighty Morphin all the way to currently Wild Force. Already did Cole, so we got the rest of these team. Alright, let's go, Zeo. Tommy Oliver, Zeo Red Ranger. Going on to S, because, yeah, of course he is. It's Tommy. It's Tommy Oliver. Everybody knows who Tommy is. Tommy is a hero. He is Power Rangers royalty. Jason David Frank, rest in peace. He is a Power Rangers legend. We all love this guy. This is Tommy Oliver's Red Ranger form. Tommy Oliver has actually been multiple Power Rangers in this series. He's been the Green Ranger, the White Ranger, the Red Zeo Ranger here, and later the Black Dino Thunder Ranger. He comes back as a Ranger in Dino Thunder, which I know all of you love and are probably waiting for that tier list, but yeah. Tommy Oliver, of course he's S tier, of course he is. Jason is S2. R.I.P. Jason David Frank. Like, why Tommy Oliver become a Red Ranger in Zeo and Turbo? Because Tommy was not the original leader of the team. Tommy was introduced later in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The original Red Ranger was a guy named Jason, who is on this list. Jason, then Rocky, was the Red Ranger in Mighty Morphin. Tommy was the Green Ranger. He was the 6th Ranger. He was the new guy they added later, and started the trend of 6th Rangers who get the cooler powers than the Prime 5. Tommy was at first an evil ranger. He was the Green Ranger. He was mind controlled by Rita Repulsa. She used her former ranger powers, passed it on to him, to become her warrior, the first Green Ranger. Tommy was a brainwashed villain for a time. They defeated him and he became a good guy for the rest of the series. He used his green powers for good before ultimately upgrading to being the White Ranger, because the White Ranger, I believe, was an original character in America. A piece of my childhood died when he did. Yeah, if you don't know, Tommy's actor, Jason David Frank, has passed away. He unfortunately committed suicide, which is a real shame because everyone loved him, and we really wished he would appear in more Power Rangers stuff, but no, that wasn't in the cards. So what about Lord Draken? Is he on here? I'm not sure he is. You left too soon, I understand why, but it's not worth it to do that over a woman. Yeah. What? It's like something to do with his wife. I did not look into it because I was just too depressed. Like, when did Power Rangers switch Rangers, that keeping the same Rangers from Mighty Morphin to Turbo? Well, you see, Akira, the actors were kind of growing up. They were not kids anymore. They were becoming adults, and some of them wanted lives or wanted careers acting in something else. So, Power Rangers Mighty Morphin to Turbo frequently swapped out characters. Tommy took over from Rocky as the Red Ranger, or I believe Jason. Like Rocky or Jason, one of the Mighty Morphin Rangers. Basically, the original red guy was leaving, Tommy took over, and eventually Jason David Frank wanted to do other things, and he was also getting older, where he left, and then he passed it on to TJ, who's down here as the Red Turbo Ranger, but we're still on Tommy. And basically, Tommy retired, but not really. He was still a ranger on the side. He was just an adult now, and Power Rangers was kind of undecided if it wanted to keep up the trend of having the Rangers as teenagers with attitude, or, you know, all the surplus of young adult Rangers, like Lightspeed Rescue and Lost Galaxy, and technically Wild Force 2, but Alyssa and Max were both I believe kids. Alyssa was in college, so I did not think she was a little girl, but Max claimed he was a kid, so yeah. They swapped out Ranger actors a lot, got replacements to take over the Ranger mantle, and this was addressed in universe as successors to keep up the Power Rangers going. Tommy was the Red Zeo Ranger, technically the second series of the Power Ranger saga. Does anyone remember SuperCon, where Jason and Amy Jo was about how the 2017 movie tarnished the original series? I do not remember that. I was not into checking out that movie at all. The White Ranger suit came from Die Ranger, which is where the Thunder Zords came from. Okay. Highly recommend checking out Bat in the Sun for the Jason David Frank action. Okay. So, Tommy is the Red Zeo Ranger, and technically the one spearheading the Forever Red crossover. Tommy and Jason recruit every Red Ranger because they need the ultimate badasses to defeat the Machine Empire here, and stop the Serpentera from rising and destroying the world. And, yeah, of course, Tommy is badass. He really is the greatest Ranger. Jason David Frank has appeared in Power Rangers a lot. He is royalty amongst us Ranger fans. He is iconic. He made many childhoods. He also had the coolest Zeo suit. I really hated the equal sign, so yeah, the star was definitely a huge good look. He is the Red Zeo Ranger and one of the best Power Rangers ever, even beyond his red color. Also, Die Ranger shows the White Tiger Ranger is a kid. Okay, I do not watch the Japanese-based shows, never have. I just can't find them. And never bothered looking. Like why James Willen was Tommy Oliver in Mighty Morphin Ranger Rito Rewind. Was he... I believe Jason David Frank might have been dead by then, so yeah. Made a cameo in the 2017 film with Kimberly. Yeah, he was always shipped with Kimberly, always kissing it up at the juice bar. His naked is Kuo of the Howling Star. Okay. So yeah, of course, Tommy is definitely S tier. Of course he is. He even outclasses Master Org on this Wild Force turf because Jason David Frank is that legendary. Go Zeo. He is definitely an S tier. Alright, but let's get the worst Red Ranger out of the way. Yes, there is a worst Red Ranger among here, and that is TJ, who is going on to D. Guys, I've been waiting a long time for this. TJ is a terrible Red Ranger. He is the worst leader of the series. Why? Because it's all his fault Zordon gets captured and the classic command center is destroyed. TJ is a weak leader, and it was a huge improvement in space because he got demoted when Andros took over. His last appearance was in a We Bear Bear in a Power Rangers parody. Oh man, at least he got to go out on a reference. There's the co-creative director and Rooster Teeth. But he is a Blue Ranger in that. Okay. So yeah, TJ, I am never doing a tier list on Turbo because Turbo is terrible. I do not like Power Rangers Turbo, and everyone but TJ probably gets an F, but we're putting him on D because it is all his fault Zordon got captured in the first place, and the command center is destroyed under his leadership. TJ, basically he's the first Black Red Ranger. TJ, okay, he is a cool character. He got redeemed in Space. In Space, after the Turbo Rangers basically lose to Divatox and Elgar, TJ pretty much gets demoted next season when Andros is the Red Space Ranger, and TJ becomes a Blue Ranger, but because he used to be a classic Red, he comes back in the Forever Red crossover, which makes no sense because the turbo powers were lost forever. What's TJ stand for? Go shift into turbo! Hey, he is not. No, he's not. Sorry, Ira, but TJ sucks. Unfortunately, the first Black Red Ranger was not a good look. I do think he was definitely outclassed by the Red SPD Ranger, who was a better black guy as the Red leader. TJ, he sucks as a Turbo Ranger because Turbo is awful. Turbo sucks, and TJ is at fault for losing Zordon in the command center and basically forcing the Power Rangers to leave Earth because the villains essentially won because he was too weak to defeat them. TJ stands for, it's Theodore Jarvis. Okay, thank you. TJ stands for Theodore Jarvis. Yeah, that was his actual name, but he calls himself TJ because he's cool, yo. So, of course, the Turbo Ranger is easily the worst one on here. TJ let me down. I liked him in Space. He got better. In Space, basically redeemed all the god-awful Turbo replacements. TJ, Cassie, Ashley, Carlos. Yeah, Carlos, forgot him. So, TJ, Ashley, Cassie, and Carlos got redeemed by In Space. They were the replacements for the classic Rangers when Turbo came in, and unfortunately they all really sucked on the Turbo show because Turbo was a piece of shit. You wouldn't say that if Tommy was responsible for the command center's destruction. Well, unfortunately, Ira, Tommy wasn't. He gave it over to TJ, who completely lost Zordon. So yeah, TJ's also indirectly responsible for Zordon's death later. So yeah, TJ, not a good look. Turbo absolutely sucked, and it failed its Red Ranger. Thankfully, they do not remind you of that. His proudest moment was, oh, one time I was baked in a giant pizza. And yeah, cringe. That was a stupid episode. The Power Rangers being baked in a giant pizza is one of the most laughably bad moments. That is not a fair judgment to make. Been busy here and there with errands, doing errands, phone calls and stuff. We'll have to watch this later. Okay, bye, Shadowlink. You missed TJ. He's on D because Turbo failed him. Also, he is an A member of the Hollywood Knights basketball team. Okay, good for him. You mentioned Carlos, so Danny wasn't the first Latino Ranger. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Carlos was. He was the Latino Black Ranger from Turbo, then to In Space. TJ got better. That was the thing. They redeemed him in Space when he became the Blue Ranger. Then he somehow had the turbo powers. This doesn't make sense. It's like, how did he keep the turbo powers? Those were destroyed in Turbo's finale. So, him being a Turbo Ranger does not make sense. They break continuity just to have him back in the suit. Basically, TJ comes back for the Forever Red crossover, and he does kick ass. He kills one of the Beetleborgs alongside my favorite Red Leo here. And basically, he's palling around with the Reds, and in that group shot where they're badass, and then when they hang out, his only moment of triumph where he survived being baked in a giant pizza. So yeah, Turbo still sucks. Shift into shit. TJ is definitely a D tier. Worst Red Ranger ever. Until the later shows, I liked him as a Red Ranger. TJ was not responsible for Zordon's death. Indirectly he is, because it's his fault Zordon got captured and was at the mercy of the bad guys where he needed Andros to mercy kill him. Also, Selin Ward was in the teen drama Sweet Valley High with Tommy Oliver actor and Catherine Hillard's actress. Okay, yeah. Shift into dog shit. Turbo Ranger Red is going down into D. But who came after TJ? Andros, the Red Space Ranger, who is going into S tier also. Yeah, we'll put him under Master Org. This is Andros, the Red Space Ranger from Power Rangers in Space. Yep, Andros was the one who killed Zordon. I liked... Okay, this is the Red Space Ranger Andros. Andros, introduced in the Forever Red crossover, is basically a scout, a mysterious hooded warrior who has the red space uniform. Andros is the first... Or no, he's not the first. He's an alien ranger. He's another being from another world, but he still looks and passes for human. Andros is awesome. He saved 2 worlds. This is the guy who saved the galaxy of the Zordon era. He was forced to mercy kill Zordon, where Zordon would turn into a purification Z-Wave, which went across space and eliminated evil everywhere, except for the Machine Empire guys down here. TJ have a better redemption than Chloe? Yeah, he did. So, Andros is a classic. Haven't talked about In Space yet, but if you're wondering, yeah, he is definitely an S-tier character. Andros has one of the best Red Ranger arcs where basically he's a total newbie and he's the leader taking over the Turbo Rangers after TJ completely failed them. The Turbo Rangers basically ran away from the villains by going into space, where they got picked up by Andros' ship. I believe it's Deca, here's her AI name, but I don't remember the ship's name. Basically, Andros picks them up and recruits them to become new Power Rangers to take on Astronema. Astronema is the villain of In Space. She's hunting down the Power Rangers to exterminate them for good, for the Council of Evil, or whatever. The evil Ranger villains, they need the Power Rangers destroyed, and Andros basically takes the Turbo Runaways in and shapes them up into a better space team, because Andros is better leading than TJ is. My personal favorite Red Ranger from my personal favorite Power Ranger series. Yeah, In Space rocks. Like, I see Andros fight Star-Lord from Marvel, or Death Battle could do it. Like she becomes the Pink Ranger. Yeah. Okay, Andros is awesome. He is a badass. He is a total rebel warrior. He learns teamwork, works with his friends. He actually scores with Ashley, one of the hottest Yellow Rangers. And he's the one who saves the world in the Zordon era, basically. He mercy kills Zordon because Zordon needs him to die. He needs him to do the right thing because Zordon has to die where he'll heroically sacrifice himself and obliterate evil everywhere, and Andros is the last ranger with him, where Andros reluctantly refuses, but after a fight with Astronema, he realizes he needs to do it, where he successfully breaks Zordon's iconic energy tube, and the purification ray sweeps over everyone in the galaxy, meaning Andros has saved the entire galaxy from the classic villains. And yeah, Andros is still badass in here. He's still hanging 10, riding the surfboard Power Ranger vehicle. Kicking ass, he is awesome. Let's rock it. Liked his Ranger transformation. Andros is a classic. Astronema is a top tier hot villain list. Yeah, she definitely might be on there. Astronema is, we find out, is Andros' sister. She was abducted by the villains and raised to be evil. She finds out she's not really an evil villainess. She's actually Andros' long-lost sister. Andros is her relative, and she contemplates turning good. However, Dark Conda completely betrays her, brainwashes Astronema and Ecliptor into being evil cyborg monsters, where Astronema becomes the final boss of the In Space season, and Andros tries to rescue his sister. The Purification Ray kills Ecliptor, and Dark Conda dies earlier, where he loses control over Astronema's brainwashed form, but Zordon's wave helps save Andros' sister, Corone. Her real name's Corone. Corone was Astronema and breaks the villain control over her, where Astronema becomes a good guy. Agree, Iris Sutton? Yeah, Astronema's pretty hot. I know this is late, but the Lion Tamer Org was voiced by Tom Winter, who was Furio from Lost Galaxy. Oh, good to see him back. Like, what is Lord Zed deal with the robots? They make pretty good expendable minions. Andros is S tier for sure. This guy definitely soared sky high for Power Rangers, and he is ultimately a badass leader, especially after the failures of TJ. So, In Space Red Ranger, of course he's S tier. Then after him came Leo. Alright, this one kind of hurts because Leo is an underrated Red Ranger. He is one of my favorite Reds of all time. I love Lost Galaxy, and Leo's rise from nobody to hero, definitely inspirational. However, in Forever Red, he did not get to do much. Leo's going into A. If this was a Lost Galaxy tier list, Leo would definitely be S tier. No lie. Leo has one of the greatest Red Ranger arcs. Basically, if you've never seen Lost Galaxy, Leo is a complete loser. He's a nobody. He's a pathetic wash-up. Nobody likes him. Nobody takes him seriously. He had to earn his Red Ranger mantle. And basically, his series is his hero's journey. Shrekina rises as the ultimate villain, while Leo rises as the ultimate hero. Like Lord Zed's return in Dino Fury. Like, how did Lord Zed come back? Because of bad writing, Akira. Power Rangers got bad when Disney and Nick took over. I'm just putting it out there. Yeah, Leo, I really like this guy. If this was a Lost Galaxy tier list, he would definitely make S tier. Unfortunately, the problem with Leo is he's barely in a lot of the crossover stuff. Danny Slavin has gotten into some behind-the-scenes drama with the Power Rangers producers over the greatest enemy of Power Rangers in general, money. Yeah, he fights with the producers because they wouldn't pay him enough, they wouldn't give him enough screen time. He felt like he was a glorified cameo. Leo almost didn't appear at all in the Forever Red crossover, but Danny was able to work things out with the producers and ultimately shows up. Unfortunately, Leo is kind of a last-minute addition. Danny Slavin's Leo doesn't return until halfway through the Forever Red episode, where we see him get his Quasar Saber, and he shows up in one of those hero shows up to save the day at the last second kind of fights. He and the Red Alien Ranger down here show up in a flying rocket ship where they save Cole from being obliterated by the Machine Empire. He shows up and he joins the red lineup where all the Rangers kick ass. Enough with the TJ hate. Well, he shouldn't have costed them the command center and Zordon's freedom. Dino Fury is owned by Netflix. Okay. Well, it also sucked. I know this doesn't relate to this list, but for some reason, the 5 Rangers almost remind me of 5 college students from Cabin in the Woods. Yeah, that is kind of weird. Anyways, Leo, basically, I really liked him and his series. Love Lost Galaxy. Leo is a complete nobody. He was not chosen to be the Red Ranger. His brother Mike was. Mike was able to lift the Quasar Saber out of the stone, King Arthur style. Mike was supposed to be the Red Galaxy Ranger. However, during a fight, Mike, quote unquote, dies, so he passes the Ranger mantle on to Leo. Mike disappears for the majority of the series. We never find out where he went, meaning Leo needs to take up the Red Ranger mantle, and Leo basically has to grow up. He becomes responsible, he shapes up, takes being a Ranger leader seriously, becomes a badass like his brother was. It's basically his hero's origin, his hero's rise. Leo had to earn being the Red Ranger. I thought the Red Alien Ranger was a robot when I first saw him. Yeah, I kind of thought that too because he never took off his outfit, but nope, he is actually an alien guy under there, but they could not get paid to get the actor back. So they just had him morphed 100%. Anyways, Leo basically fights Trakina, the evil insectoid princess, the daughter of the galactic conqueror Scorpius. Scorpius and his Stingwingers are conquering the galaxy. He wants Trakina to take his place and be the queen of their race, conquering planets and exterminating races beneath them. One of these races, unfortunately, is humanity. Terra Venture is a human colonizing ship with Leo and his Ranger team on it. They're flying across the cosmos, exploring new life, Star Trek style, and frequently clashing with this evil alien race. Not Nick, but I see Blue Ranger Billy return to Cosmic Fury. Yeah, my friend really hated that. Like why Power Rangers bring back Tommy Oliver, Jason Lee, Scott and Billy Cranston, and Ninja Steel, Beast Morphers, and Cosmic Fury. Because they're out of ideas. The Yellow Ranger from the Lost Galaxy reminds me of that jungle girl from the TNT series, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World 2002. Highly recommend checking the series out to relive some nostalgia. Yeah, Yellow Galaxy Ranger was my favorite character because she was hot. She played the best character in not another teen movie. Yeah, Maya was one of my Power Ranger crushes. She will definitely be high up on this tier list. Like, you know, Ultraman and Kamen Rider with their own Power Ranger, Alia. I don't know Kamen Rider. Alright, so Leo basically rises to power, becomes the hero the galaxy needs, and fights Trakina in the ultimate death battle when Trakina invades Terra Venture. Eventually, Trakina loses her dad, undergoes her own villain rise and villain revenge arc, where she tries to kill the Power Rangers, and Trakina and Leo really became arch enemies, where Leo finally shapes up, becomes a good ranger, and squashes that bug for good. Leo doesn't show up until halfway through the Forever Red crossover, which is why I did lose some points, but I really like Leo. He was one of my favorite Red Rangers, and I like Lost Galaxy a lot, so he does hold some love from me, but for Forever Red, he is on A tier because he shows up at the last second, but he does kick ass. He uses his Quasar Saber, and he and TJ actually get a badass moment where they double team one of the evil Beetleborgs. So yeah, don't worry, that's your TJ praise. Leo helped make him look good. I remember how some fans said they had a Mandela effect, that they thought that Maya wore sandals, not boots, in her appearance. Well, she is a jungle princess. Maya did wear boots. I am watching Lost Galaxy right now, so I know. Well, I made an MU for Maya, which is a sun girl for Marvel. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Leo, going on A tier. He goes galactic. I love the Galactic Galaxy Ranger, and so glad Danny Slavin finally did return to the mantle. So yeah, Galaxy Ranger, he goes to A. Then after him, we have Carter Grayson, who I talked about extensively on my Lightspeed Rescue tier, and as you know, Carter Grayson going on to S tier. Carter Grayson, best Red Ranger ever, enough said. I talked about this guy already on my Lightspeed Rescue tier list, so you get the idea. Carter is the most badass Red Ranger we ever had, lovable hero, real inspirational role model for kids, and even all these years later in Forever Red, he still kicks ass. Carter Grayson is the one who recruits everyone, so he wins some points in Wild Force. He is going on to S tier, he rocks, and even on Wild Force's turf, Carter is number 1. Maya was also in one of those Truth parody commercials. She was also in Cabin Fever. My friend Jon Snow remembers that. Biggest badass in the group. Hey, Jon Snow, you remember that? Like Maya from Lost Galaxy needs a death battle MU since she needs some love AI. Maya versus Sheena. They're both jungle princesses, but Maya can turn into a Power Ranger, so she does have the upper hand. Carter Grayson, S tier, he rocks. Speaking of which, Wes and Eric, Red Time Force Ranger and the Quantum Ranger. I'm not sure why they brought the Quantum Ranger in, but I guess because he's red, he counts. Yeah, these two also going on to S. We'll put them under Master Org. Okay, we'll put them under there. Wes and Eric, I also went over these guys on my Time Force tier list. They're awesome characters. However, the difference is they actually did appear earlier on the Time Force crossover. Wes and Eric are now both Silver Guardians. They're cops working together. They did finally become generals and bros. They help the Wild Forest Rangers defeat the evil mute orgs. And Wes and Jen confirmed to be a couple now. They have a long-distance relationship. Jen saves Wes, and they finally have their romantic moment. Though, weirdly, I think Lucas and Nadira got a lot more romance. We do get confirmation that Lucas and Nadira are dating, but Wes and Jen definitely still have feelings together. Eric actually gets shipped with the Yellow Ranger Taylor down here. I really wish we got to see Taylor and Eric end up together, but there's a lot of fans theorizing that they did hook up. Like Carter is cool. Like I think he is like the inspiration for Inspire Fire Force. I know that the movie that Maya character was in was that Naked Student. Yeah, not another teen movie. Maya the Jungle Princess plays the character who's a parody of Nadia from American Pie. She's the hot foreign exchange student, but the Yellow Ranger way hotter than Shannon Elizabeth. I am saying that now, Jon Snow. Anyways, Time Force Rangers, Wes, Eric, the Quantum Ranger, and Red Time Force Ranger, still awesome. They're on S tier. I talked about them already on my Time Force tier list, but all these years later, I do think they are kick-ass Rangers, and it was nice seeing them actually fulfill their character arcs. And we got to see Eric hit on the Yellow Ranger. Really wish they became a couple, but Power Rangers is allergic to romance, so didn't see that play out. Okay, so yeah. S tier. Red Alien Ranger. Red Alien Ranger. Also going on to A. We'll put him next to Leo, because he also showed up last minute. The Red Alien Ranger is a badass. So badass, he never even takes off his morph form to appear in the crossover. He wears this outfit, this red Snake Eyes look 24/7. To hide the fact that they did not get his original actor to come back, but it was nice to see him brought in. Basically, he's a space ninja. He's a space ninja warrior. He has like super speed. He can outrun the Beetleborg weapons, is dodging them. He shows up with Leo because apparently they gave each other a carpool ride across space, and they both kind of show up in the last second. To think that they met because Taylor was speeding and Eric gave her a ticket. Yeah, that was the reason he pulled her over. Like, people are upset that Johnny Young Bosch wasn't in Ranger Reject. Like, people are ranting since he should be on the Green Dragon Keeper. Unfortunately, I think Johnny Young Bosch has definitely moved on from Power Rangers. He does not seem like he's interested in coming back. Like he's just a Ninja Sentai Kaga Rangers, since I watched the Japanese version and I love the yokai monsters. Okay, Red Alien Ranger doesn't get to do much, just like Leo, because he was a last minute addition, but very glad he showed up for the crossover. I believe the Red Alien Ranger was also in Zeo alongside Tommy, so yeah, kind of in a different show. I have no familiarity with the Zeo era or the Mighty Morphin era, but I would put this guy on A because it was pretty awesome seeing a Red Ninja Ranger before we got Ninja Storm. And finally, let's end this on the high note of all high notes, Jason, the OG Red Ranger, Tyrannosaurus. Jason, yeah, of course he's going on to S tier. Putting him next to Tommy for sure. This is Jason, the original Mighty Morphin Red Power Ranger. And yeah, of course he's S tier. Who doesn't like Jason? This guy is the original. He started it all. Yeah, he was there since the beginning. You think he was gonna miss this party? He is the veteran ranger, and the highlight is seeing Jason and Cole working together because it's the oldest Red Ranger working with the newest Red Ranger. Again, wish Eric and Taylor went further in the finale. Wish they did. There wasn't even like a cameo from Southworth. Like they made the Japanese version of Rito Revolta was a Japanese punk who played the piano. Okay, good to know. Anyways, Jason, yeah, of course he's a badass. He's the guy. He started the Red Ranger trend. He is the first. He is the original. He's their George Washington. This guy was the star of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I did hear they got the guy who played him on the Turbo show. Not Jason's original actor. I might be wrong or misquoting that, but yeah. Anyways, Mighty Morphin Red Ranger, Tyrannosaurus Rex. Of course he's S tier. He and Tommy are both legendary, and the highlight of Forever Red was seeing Tommy and Jason finally working together again years later after the old 90s show. Now, I have not watched a lot of the classic Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I do not have a huge, familiarity or encyclopedic knowledge of the classic Mighty Morphin. I know of all the high points because later Ranger shows talked about them. Specifically, Dino Thunder talked about them, and a lot of the anniversary specials reference them. We do see Tommy confronting these other Rangers, and they're him. But yeah. Another personal favorite Red Ranger. Glad he returned in the film, paying tribute to the Yellow Ranger, RIP. Yeah, very glad. Jason, really awesome. I like how Jason kept calling Cole Rookie. Yeah, because he was the new guy. Like becoming Omega Gold Rangers. Yeah, Jason, in the context of Forever Red, he is the old veteran soldier. He's the pro. He's a badass. This is all just kid stuff to him now, and he still kicks ass as a Red Ranger. He calls Cole the Rookie because, again, this is Wild Force. Cole was the newest Red Ranger at the time, and the highlight was seeing the old Red and the newest Red double teaming the Beetleborgs, and Jason basically doesn't respect Cole until the end, where Cole one-shots the Serpentera to death anticlimactically, and Jason finally gives him respect. Not bad, rookie. I always wondered why they never made a Power Rangers villain a human. I don't mean like a human being controlled or a human turned into a monster. I mean a human. Well, Master Org was technically that, so yeah. And debatably Mesogog too, if you're familiar with Dino Thunder. Like I am a fan of Red Dino Charge Tyler. Like his actor became a YouTuber. Yeah, you did tell me that in one of these streams. But anyways, yeah, Jason, of course, he's legendary. He is right next to Jason David Frank as an iconic Power Rangers royalty. The original Red Ranger, of course, he gets his respect. And this might be the closest we talk about the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, because I don't have much familiarity with the show, but I do respect the classics, and from what I've seen, Jason is a badass, and Forever Red definitely kept that trend up. Seeing him come back, played by the same guy from Turbo, really nice, really satisfying fan service, fan love, and they did him so much justice. I miss when we had, old tributes to the classics and actually paying respect to the old instead of deconstructing or criticizing or apologizing for it. So seeing Jason treated with respect and being a badass is how you do it. It is how you do it. Seeing this old guy come back kicking ass as a Power Ranger again, it is one of the most satisfying moments of the Power Rangers franchise. And Jason, of course, is an S tier, but not as good as Carter Grayson or Tommy. But yeah, don't worry, he's third place, so definitely no slouch. He is an S tier. Like Sledge is the funny villain, he went to Japan and lie that he doesn't have fun there. Also, the Beetleborgs are called the Machine Empire Generals. Yeah, I did point that out during this list. Just like Bulkhead and Smokescreen with Transformers Prime. Throw out your hands, having you in Japan is just fun. Okay. So that pretty much completes our list. Yep, they're all on here, including all the Red Rangers and even that terrible TJ. Alright, we'll go over it one last time for any of you late birds in case you haven't seen it. But yeah, this is pretty much our tier list. A lot of the one-shot monsters once again took over the board, but we counted everybody, so yeah, that's that. Time to go over it one last time. So, down in the dumps, in D, the worst character is Kite / Animus. Awful character, awful writing, awful twists, and a complete waste because he ended up dying and doing nothing. Kite is the worst character of Wild Force. But we also have Lawnmower Guy, Manda Dork, the Rat Monster, the Junk Monster. All these monsters suck. We have TJ, who is the worst Red Ranger up until later shows. Well, this was yet another great tier list. Nice going, Cat. See you next time. See you, Christopher. Yeah, TJ, worst Red Ranger ever. It's all his fault the classic command center was destroyed and Zordon was captured. Tommy trusted this guy and he failed. But he is badass in the Forever Red crossover, and Tom and TJ did get better in space, so we'll give him that. And Princess Shayla is also down here because she sucks. One of the worst mentors of the franchise. She is right up there next to Zordon's pupil from Megaforce because she is useless. Well, when are we going to have the Courage the Cowardly Dog tier list to honor David Stephen Cohen, the head writer of the series that passed away? Maybe later. I'm trying to work something out. And in C tier, we have a bunch of one-shot monsters, and Taylor because she is one of the weakest Yellow Rangers. I did not care for her. She is weak to me. She is not my favorite Yellow, and a complete disgrace to Maya, the Jungle Princess, and even Katie, the Time Force Yellow. She is C. Then in B, a lot of more one-shot monsters, some funny, some forgettable. The Blue Ranger is down here because I did not care for him. Very basic character. Not one of the top tier Blue Rangers. Max was definitely forgettable. We have the Machine Empire Generals, aka the Beetleborgs. They were good filler villains, I won't lie, but we all know the highlight was seeing all the Reds together. And the Putrids, very lame minions, did not like them. A huge disgrace and step down from the Cyclobots. We're putting them on B because they are basics. And it was fun since this is a Golden Dragon Ranger, Akira signing off. Bye, Akira. Then in A, we have Jindrax's brother. He was likable. We have the Ringmaster. He was funny. We have two versions of Nazor, the evil orc general. Really liked him as a filler villain. He and his revived form, they're both going together on 8. Really cool villain. We have Cole, who is a fine Red Ranger, but not one of my favorite characters ever. We have Danny, the Iron Bison. Actually liked him. Found him much more likable and entertaining than the rest of the Rangers. We have Alyssa, the Noble Tiger. I did like her. I found her cute and adorable. I thought she was hot, but I don't know what you guys are smoking. White Tiger, she's alright. She was one of the more likable Rangers, and they gave her a more satisfying ending than everyone else. Then we have Leo and Red Alien Ranger. These two are badasses, but didn't get to be huge in the Forever Red crossover and almost didn't get to be in the party, so really glad that they did. But Leo would make S tier if this was a Lost Galaxy list, and Red Alien Ranger, he was badass in the scenes he had. So badass he never took off his Ranger outfit, but yeah, really like seeing them. They're awesome. Then S tier, the ultimate badasses. We have Onikage, really badass Starscream villain, awesome ninja monster. He is one of the best orc generals. We have Jindrax and Toxica, both their regular and brainwash forms, and Toxica's masked form. Really like these two. They were great bumbling villains, and they definitely deserved a redemption arc. They pretty much held up the show. Then we have Zen-Aku and the Wolf Ranger Merrick, these easily the best rangers of Wild Forest. They are the best characters on the team, had interesting complex arcs, interesting character developments, and I actually thought they were cool. We have all the Red Rangers too. We have Master Org, who might be the #1 Wild Force character. Master Org and his ultimate Org forms, both of them are on here. Master Org is an awesome, underrated Power Rangers villain. He is easily one of the most evil, vile, despicable bastards ever, and he pushed the boundaries for what Power Ranger monsters could get away with. Master Org, in terms of the Wild Force cast, is easily the best among the Wild Force show. He is up here and he definitely deserves it. Master Org will always be remembered as the scariest bad guy. Well, you had the wrong take on Taylor, but I agree with pretty much everybody else from the Force, lol. It's all good fun. Okay. Thanks, Emily. Sorry, I did not care for Taylor. I just wasn't attached to her. And #1, we have all the Red Rangers. We have Andros, awesome Space Ranger. He would be S tier even if we make an in space tier list. Wes and Eric, yeah, they're still S tier. They won points because of the Time Force show. They made S tier before, and no surprise, they're still up here. We have Jason and Tommy. They are legendary Power Rangers, because of course they are. These two are like OGs. People love them, they're badass, and Forever Red highlighted why they are the most important Rangers ever. But #1 is Carter Grayson. Don't fuck with Carter Grayson, he is #1. And yes, he is the #1 character on Wild Force's turf. Carter is the #1 Wild Force character. But in terms of the actual cast, it is Master Org. Sorry, just catching up on comments. Alright. Yep, Carter Grayson, he's the #1 Red of the Red team up. Yeah, I know, blasphemous because Tommy and Jason are also awesome, but I did not grow up on Mighty Morphin and Zeo. Carter Grayson is my Red Ranger, so he is #1. But if this is a Wild Force only cast, Master Org would be #1 because he is one of the best villains ever. But yeah, that pretty much completes our list. All of them are on here. You might need to snap a pic or pause in case I'm going too fast for you, because it is a big list. Kite, easily the worst character, and Master Org and Carter both tied for first. They are the #1 characters. They are awesome. But thank you guys for joining this list. I really liked it. This was a fun one to do because we got to talk about all the Red Rangers ever, and that was definitely a fun time. We'll see what I do next time. I most likely am going to do a Lost Galaxy tier list because I love Lost Galaxy. However, it is kind of a question mark where we'll go from then. Maybe we'll go back to doing horror tier lists. I want to do Elm Street with my friend. I'm working on some crossovers, getting some videos done. I do have a Goosebumps video out on Patreon, and currently we have another Goosebumps video in the making, but we'll see if that one gets posted soon. But yeah, this pretty much completes our tier list. Bye, Jon Snow. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, or just tune in for more videos posted here on Wolf Entertainment. I'm your host, Catastrophe, and I'm closing Wild Access.